Chapter 617. That's because you didn't see my teammates over there. Su Xiangwen proudly raised his head and smiled. Dance of the underworld butterfly. Wang Lan's body instantly dissipated, turning into a butterfly that danced gracefully. Under the mottled sunlight, the butterflies seemed to dance in a fantasy of the elven forest. In an instant, a butterfly appeared beside the dozens of gunmen. With a swoosh, everyone's head flew into the sky. If Su Xiangwen took a minute to eliminate this group of gunmen, then Wang Lan only took a second, or perhaps not even a second. Gunshots suddenly sounded, and the gunmen suddenly stopped. That was all. My God, as expected of an S-rank independent team of the International Security Committee, too powerful. This should just be a probing attack by the drug gang. Wang Lan returned to the team and said to Hatch, I know, but it doesn't matter. With you guys here, whether it's a probing attack or a real attack, they're all dead. CSCC and Jiang Xinyu side also killed all the gunmen in a very short time. The 30,000-strong army continued to advance. But strangely, according to Hatch, there were many powerful Takashi Hoshi in the drug gang, but they didn't appear in this attack. Perhaps it was just as Hatch said, this was just a probing attack. But in the next half a day, the drug gang seemed to have accepted their fate and didn't launch any more probing attacks. Until the 30,000-strong army passed through the forest and arrived at the complex mountain range. Mr. Hatch, after walking out of the forest, the army had a short time to rest and reorganize. Wang Lan came to Hatch's side. Mr. Fire Phoenix, didn't you say that there was a powerful Takashi Hoshi in this group of drug dealers? Even if we eliminated their first probing attack, the next step should be to send a Takashi Hoshi expert to test again, but they still haven't? This is indeed a bit strange. Perhaps they were also frightened by your strength? In any case, we were able to arrive here safely, which is already more than any other time. Mr. Fire Phoenix may not know, but the previous 3 times in the forest, we lost 1/3 of our strength to their despicable sneak attacks. This time, we passed through the forest with almost no casualties, so I'm confident in this operation. Looking at the other party's completely unconcerned expression, Wang Lan didn't say anything more. With his strength, even if the drug dealers had any conspiracy, he should be able to deal with it. Su Xiangwen came to Wang Lan's side. Lan, when we were ambushed in the forest just now, I deliberately left 2 eyes. It's about time to close the net. Pull the net, but be careful to prevent their desperate counterattack. After passing through the forest, and the other way around the forest, the rest of the army zestes a group. The terrain here was intertwined with mountains and forests, and the range of observation was very close, and the mountain road was very rugged and difficult to walk. Under the leadership of Su Xiangwen, the army quickly approached a canyon. There are large areas of poppy fields in the canyon, and behind them is a village built with wooden houses. There are about 600 to 700 people. In less than an hour, they found a drug dealer's stronghold. This was good news for the army that came from afar to eliminate the drug dealers. Following Ha Chi's order, the army roared and launched an attack on the valley. Under Su Xiangwen's Takashi Hoshi skills, the drug dealers were almost unable to put up a decent resistance and were destroyed by the army. Surrender? In a group of soldiers with high morale and killing intent, there was no such word as surrender in their hearts. Ha Chi didn't restrain himself. Anyway, the soldiers under him could do whatever they wanted. Report. What should we do with these poppy fields? Do you still need to ask? Burn them. It was currently the 3rd month of spring, the season of recovery. The army didn't bring flamethrowers or gasoline, and several soldiers couldn't light a fire for a long time. Forget it. Let them come back. Wang Lan said indifferently. No, we can't leave so many poppies. If we leave them, who knows how many people will suffer? We must all. Lava gush. Wang Lan lightly spat out these 4 words, and a radiant formation fell in the middle of the poppy field. Accompanied by a deafening sound, countless lava spewed out from the center of the poppy field, and the soldiers who were lighting the fire on the side were dumbfounded. What are you still standing there for? Come back. Wang Lan sternly shouted. Several soldiers who were scared, silly, suddenly trembled, and hurriedly ran back to the entrance of the valley. Hachi looked in shock at the poppy field that was instantly engulfed by the lava. In his mind, he imagined what would happen if Wang Lan threw such a thing into the army on the battlefield. Although Hachi knew that Wang Lan was an S-rank independent team of the International Security Committee and was a very strong elite, he didn't know how strong an S-rank elite team was. What they knew was that a Star Sea realm Takashi Hoshi could survive a missile attack, and that was it. Babbling country was small and barren, and its population was only 20 million. Native Takashi Hoshi was already rare, and the cultivation resources were poor. Although there were Star Sea realm Takashi Hoshi, as for whether they could reach the level of Star Sea realm in Jade State, it was better to just wash up and sleep. Not to mention S-rank Takashi Hoshi, or Super S-rank Takashi Hoshi. Wang Lan rose into the sky and scanned the surroundings. Since the drug dealers needed to plant poppies, and the large poppy field couldn't be hidden. Poppy fields might be difficult to find in a primitive forest, but in an open valley, it wasn't difficult. Wang Lan circled in the sky and had already locked on 40 poppy fields. The army set out again, and when they arrived, they were surprised to find that the poppy fields were still there and the surrounding camps were still there. However, the drug dealers in the camps were gone. They ran away. These bastards are so cunning. They knew that they were no match for us, and they ran away. Hachi roared with shame and anger. These words were very clever. Why didn't they run when they knew that they couldn't beat them? What else could it be if they weren't stupid? They didn't run away. They just hid underground. Su Xiangwen opened his heavenly eye and sneered. He squatted down and pressed his palm on the ground. I'll destroy them directly. Leave one or two alive. Understood. Rumble. Following an earth-shattering roar, the ground under their feet suddenly shook. The entire valley was shaking violently, and many small mountains collapsed directly. The special geological structure made the rocks in this area like a sponge. There were countless holes in the rocks in the mountains and underground, and these holes were like ant nests. Although they weren't big, they could allow people to crawl through them. This rock structure was a natural maze, and it provided the drug dealers with safe protection. However, at the same time, it was also very fragile. As long as there was an earthquake, the mountain's ground would collapse very easily. As the ground shook, a few rocks with people inside were safely preserved by Su Xiangwen and sent out of the ground. As for the others, even if they weren't killed by the earthquake, they should have been crushed to death. As for the two people that Su Xiangwen had kept alive, their heads were bleeding and they had fainted. Wang Lan came in front of the two people and pressed his palm on their heads. After a while, Wang Lan released the two people. Kill them. What do you think? Jiang Xinyu asked softly. That Nighthawk's vigilance is really high. After the ambush in the dense forest failed, he ordered them to lie low and only come out after the encirclement is over. However, this Nighthawk underestimated us. There are a total of 100 secret strongholds here, and every stronghold has this kind of geological structure. Normally, no one would be able to discover them if they hid underground. Even a perception-type Takashi Hoshi wouldn't be able to do anything. After all, perception-type Takashi Hoshi can sense star power clusters. However, they're all normal people, but Xiangwen's heavens, I can see them clearly. What's left is to dig them out one by one like sweet potatoes. Understood. The rest was very simple. Wang Lan had already figured out the approximate locations of the 100 strongholds. Su Xiangwen was responsible for burying the people and digging out a few for Wang Lan to imprint. Before the operation, Hachi had already thought that this operation would be successful. It might even succeed very smoothly, but he didn't expect it to go so smoothly. It couldn't be said that they had come all the way here to exterminate bandits. Instead, they had brought 30,000 government troops here for a vacation. Su Xiangwen was like an underground detector. When he came to a place and saw that there were people underground, he would ask Hachi, "Do you want them? If you don't, they would all be wiped out." At first, Hachi refused. He hated drug dealers to begin with. His grandfather died from drugs, and so did his father. In Hachi's heart, all drug dealers deserve to die. They deserved to be drowned in a cesspool. However, he couldn't take it anymore. They had wiped them out too cleanly. If they didn't bring some drug dealers back, how could people believe that they had wiped out all the drug dealers? The citizens didn't think that they had just gone out for a stroll and came back. Every one of them looked good, no one was missing, and only a few were injured. Did they exchange fire with the drug dealers? Who would believe that? Therefore, Su Xiangwen was responsible for digging people out. He first knocked them out, then dug them out. It was clean and efficient. Other than the government troops taking some time to pack up, everything else was clean and efficient. As the strongholds were wiped out one by one, Wang Lan's frown deepened. Didn't they say that there were powerful Takashi Hoshi? What was going on? Although there were indeed a few Takashi Hoshi, these Takashi Hoshi had been killed by Su Xiangwen in one move. He couldn't see how powerful they were, and their numbers were pitifully small. Mr. Hachi, Wang Lan came to Hachi's side again. Are you sure that there are powerful Takashi Hoshi in this group of drug dealers? I'm sure. In the previous 3 encirclements, there were more than 200 Takashi Hoshi accompanying the army. There were even a few experts above the galaxy grade. Cough, cough, cough. Suddenly, Su Xiangwen let out a violent cough. I'm fine. Continue. I'm just out of breath. Su Xiangwen hurriedly waved his hand and ran to the side to cough. However, each time, we were ambushed by the Nighthawk subordinates in the primitive forest. Then, the Takashi Hoshi experts went to fight with the enemy Takashi Hoshi. In the end, there were heavy casualties. Less than a fifth of the 200 Takashi Hoshi survived. The Takashi Hoshi of Babbling Country were even more precious, so I was impeached a lot. If it weren't for Senator Huasi standing against the majority and protecting me, I might have been court-martialed. That's strange. Wait, Wang Lan. Suddenly, Jiang Xinyu came to Wang Lan and said, I just engraved the guy and found the whereabouts of the Nighthawk's stronghold. Chapter 618. This was a pleasant surprise. Wang Lan had previously imprinted the memories of so many people, so they knew the approximate locations of the other camps. However, they knew nothing about the location of their highest leader, Nighthawk. Wang Lan did not find this strange. It would be strange if Nighthawk did not have the ability to end the killing between the drug dealers and integrate them into a powerful force that even the government was afraid of within half a year. Wang Lan even thought that even if they wiped out all of Nighthawk's subordinates, Nighthawk might not be hurt at all. How did this fellow know about Nighthawk's whereabouts? Is he Nighthawk's confidant? He was originally Takashi Hoshi, Nighthawk's personal guard, and he was at the beginner stage of the galaxy grade. Yesterday, he was ordered to go to the various camps to inform the drug dealers to lay low. This fellow is also a drunkard, and the drug dealers under him all know that he has a taste for alcohol. After coming to this camp, he should have immediately returned to report to Nighthawk, but he could not bear to leave the camp's leader's warm hospitality. He fell into a gentle embrace and forgot to leave. By the time he woke up, we had already started our sweep. He knew that he would definitely die if he returned this time. So he hid with the people in the camp and waited for this incident to end before escaping Nighthawk's control. Hearing Jiang Xinyu's explanation, Wang Lan smiled. Let's go. We'll keep an eye on Nighthawk first. Nighthawk alone is more of a threat than all of the drug dealers. Wang Lan left first after informing Hatch. Hatch quickly ordered the army to gather and prepare to move out. As for the captured prisoners and logistical supplies, they did not want them and were executed on the spot. Nighthawk's hiding place was located in a large mountain. The mountain had a structure of rock layers that looked like a 1,000-layer cake, and they were wriggling inside like worms in a plywood. We've confirmed that there's a group of drug dealers inside. There are about 500 people, and almost half of them are Takashi Hoshi. Looks like we're right. Let's take down Nighthawk first. As soon as he finished speaking, the 4 of them disappeared into the ground with a whoosh. Not long after Wang Lan and the others sneaked in, the people in the Nighthawk camp suddenly became alert. It wasn't that they were wary of Wang Lan's group of 4, but that the scouts in the distance had discovered that the army was approaching them and quickly reacted. If they could hide without being discovered, of course they would. But now that they couldn't hide anymore, wouldn't they be waiting for death if they continued to hide? The drug dealers quietly crawled out of their hiding caves and prepared to launch an attack on the 30,000 government soldiers. Their counterattack this time was indeed cowardly. Originally, they thought that the government troops wouldn't be able to get anything out of them. Once the government troops left, they would be able to come out again. However, he did not expect the government troops to be so accurate, as if they were equipped with a navigation system. Originally, when they saw the camps being dug out one after another, they had already realized that something was wrong. But at that time, resistance was futile. Fortunately, none of the 100 camps knew the location of the headquarters. In the eyes of the people in the headquarters camp, the other camp forces were just cannon fodder. If their entire army was wiped out in exchange for their own safety, then they would have died a worthy death. But they didn't expect the government troops to suddenly turn around and sneak towards them halfway through the excavation. Obviously, the headquarters camp had been exposed. If they didn't attack now, then they would really be wiped out. But they didn't know that when the 30,000 soldiers came to surround them, a few people had already sneaked in. Wang Lan's group of 4 sneaked into the camp like ghosts and went straight into the innermost part of the camp. As for the Takashi Hoshi in the camp, but in front of Wang Lan, their strength was just decoration. Leader, the government troops are less than a kilometer away from us. Brothers, have you arranged the defensive line? It's all arranged. In another 500 meters, they will be surrounded by us. Although 500 people surrounding 30,000 people is a little small, it's okay. We have the advantage of the tunnel. If we launch a surprise attack, we will definitely cause them to suffer heavy losses. Have the other camps sent the order to counterattack? More than a dozen nearby camps have been sent. The ones further away haven't. Their support will arrive in an hour at the earliest. Hold on for an hour. We will occupy the advantageous terrain. This is a fight to the death. You should all know the consequences of being caught by the government troops. Yes. Hearing this, Wang Lan's group of 4 understood that they had found their target. In a flash, they came out of hiding. The sudden appearance of 4 people, who were wearing such strange and terrifying costumes, made the 4 people in the camp feel as if they had encountered ghosts. Before they could scream, Wang Lan's group instantly took action and controlled the 4 people in the command center. Under the black cloak with red clouds on it, a moon-white mask was revealed. Wang Lan slowly came in front of the bearded man, who looked like the leader. He looked at the man in front of him curiously. You're Nighthawk? You're just a normal person. How can you lead so many Takashi Hoshi and organize such a large-scale armed force in such a short time? You're a talent. As he spoke, Wang Lan pressed his palm on Nighthawk's head. A surge of spiritual power gushed into Nighthawk's mind. Instantly, Nighthawk's memories flashed before Wang Lan's eyes like a slide. Suddenly, Wang Lan's brows furrowed. He let go of his hand. The bearded man in his hand had turned into an idiot. Damn it, what's wrong? Is there something wrong? Jiang Xinyu quickly asked after hearing what Wang Lan said. He's not Nighthawk. He's just Nighthawk's substitute. The real Nighthawk isn't here anymore. How cunning. Su Xiangwen shook his head and smiled. But it doesn't matter. Nighthawk's forces have been wiped out. Only one Nighthawk escaped. He shouldn't be able to do much. No, this Nighthawk is more dangerous than the 30,000 people under him. Also, Wang Lan paused, then continued. Nighthawk should be the mastermind behind the assassins that we're investigating. In this person's memories, Nighthawk has 4 very beautiful Takashi Hoshi assassins. They're different from other Takashi Hoshi. They're proficient in all the skills of an assassin. They're proficient in firearms, poison, seduction, and so on. So you're saying that we have to find Nighthawk to complete this mission? CSCC said calmly. Let's see if there are any other clues here first. Wang Lan walked to a computer and plugged the USB into the computer. After a while, Xiao AI gained access to the computer. Wang Lan, let's go. The self-destruct sequence has been activated. It'll explode in 5 seconds. The self-destruct sequence can't be stopped. There's only 4 seconds left. 3 seconds. Wang Lan's expression changed drastically. He quickly grabbed the 3 of them and appeared outside in a flash. Wang Lan pressed the ground hard. Underworld domino dash. Rumble there was a loud noise. Gates of the underworld suddenly rose from the ground and formed a long wall, separating the government army from the armed forces. This scene happened too suddenly and too quickly. Both sides of the crossfire did not have time to react. The gunshots stopped abruptly. Everyone's mind went blank. What was going on? Boom! In the next second, there was a terrifying explosion. A mushroom cloud rose, and a terrifying shockwave swept out. It hit the gates of the underworld violently. The gates of the underworld that Wang Lan had set up with all his strength could not even leave a mark on them. However, they were shattered by the shockwave. The first layer of the gates of the underworld did not even manage to resist for a moment before it was destroyed by the shockwave. As for the second layer, it smashed through 4 layers of the gates of the underworld before it stopped in front of the 5th layer. The interior of the gates of the underworld still looked like the end of the world. The government army that was separated by the gates of the underworld looked at the scene in front of them in a daze. Perhaps they were frightened, or perhaps they were startled. After a long time, the government army finally came back to their senses and retreated in fear. Wang Lan and the other 3 figures suddenly appeared beside Hatch. Hatch was also in a state of shock. When he saw Wang Lan and the other 3 appear, he was so frightened that he almost fell to the ground. Mr. Fire Phoenix. What? What happened? Why was there such a huge explosion? Could it be that you guys? This was not done by us. We buried a bomb in Nighthawk's base. Before Nighthawk left, he activated the bomb's self-detonation program. Damn drug dealers. How could they be so vicious? Then, Nighthawk ran away. Nighthawk ran away. The one in the base was Nighthawk's substitute. Nighthawk ran away before we took action. This is bad news, but there is good news. The assassinations in the past half year were indeed done by Nighthawk. There is such an assassin by Nighthawk's side. I knew it. I knew it was done by that bastard. Hatch gritted his teeth and shouted. Then let's destroy the rest of the drug dealer's base and prepare to withdraw our troops. That Nighthawk suddenly piqued my interest. It is Nighthawk's misfortune to be interested in Mr. Fire Phoenix. The rest of the matter went very smoothly. Under Su Xianwen's lead, they quickly found a few drug dealer forces that were planning to come over as reinforcements. Su Xianwen took care of them all in one move. Then, like digging potatoes, Nighthawk's forces were all dug out in less than 4 hours. With the support of Senator Huisi, our narcotics police department has once again launched a heavy attack. We led 30,000 National Defense soldiers through the primeval forest and encircled the criminal drug dealers entrenched in the Eagle Mountain Range. Furthermore, we have wiped out all the drug dealers in the Eagle Mountain Range to avenge our previous humiliation. In the press conference, the background changed to the National Defense soldiers escorting the captured drug dealers one by one. This scene instantly stunned all the viewers in front of their televisions. After a short moment of silence, there was another deafening cheer. The drug dealers in Babbling Country not only harmed people all over the world, but also the citizens of Babbling Country. How many people's families were destroyed by the drugs? How many people died at an early age because of the drugs? The biggest cancer in Babbling Country was suddenly eliminated today. No matter how badly the previous encirclements failed, they succeeded this time. Not only were the citizens cheering, but the Babbling soldiers who had been defeated and injured in the previous encirclements were also crying. The first 3 times we lost nearly 50,000 soldiers. Did you see that? Senator Huisi stood his ground against the objections of the public and insisted on carrying out the 4th encirclement. Senator Huisi said that this was not the end, but only the beginning. This time it was the drug dealers. Next time it will be the arms dealers, and then it will be the gangs. Senator Huisi promised the entire nation that from now on, no one will be able to ride roughshod over the citizens of Babbling Country. No matter how powerful they are, no matter how many men they have, we will resolutely strike them down. With the release of one piece of news after another, the popular candidate for this election, Huisi's popularity instantly skyrocketed. If the voting started now, no one doubted that his votes would not be above 90%. Chapter 619. This Nighthawk suffered such a huge loss. What do you guys think he'll do next? In the hotel, Wang Lan asked Jiang Xinyu and the other two. Run, what else can he do? He's a stray dog now. If he doesn't run, he'll die. Not necessarily. Wang Lan shook his head and said calmly, Are the 30,000 drug dealers under Nighthawk's control? Why not? Wait. Su Xiangwen suddenly understood something. These 30,000 drug dealers have always been in Egel, but because the government implemented the drug quarantine policy, they had internal conflicts and killed each other. But was their internal strife really a matter of killing each other? I was even more convinced that Nighthawk was the one behind all this. Furthermore, Nighthawk himself was very powerful. If he didn't have these two skills, how could he have been able to gather a bunch of scattered drug dealers in just half a year? So Nighthawk isn't a stray dog. Those 30,000 people are just a force that Nighthawk picked up. This is why Nighthawk is very scary, and he's very powerful. If he can gather the drug dealers, he can gather the arms dealers and the gangs. You mean, his next step is to gather the other forces? That's possible. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. Su Xiangwen opened his heavenly eye and glanced. It's Latin. He opened the door to let Latin in, but Latin's expression was very serious and panicked. Seeing Latin's expression, Wang Lan knew that something big must have happened. Mr. Fire Phoenix, something happened. Last night, Mr. Hatch was killed in his home. What? Wang Lan looked at Latin in shock, but Latin didn't look like he was joking at all. I've underestimated Nighthawk, underestimated his arrogance. I thought he would obediently hide after being hit like this. I really didn't think. Wang Lan shook his head slowly. He dared to provoke us, even though he knew we were coming. Mr. Fire Phoenix, please turn on the TV. There was a press conference on the TV, and the main character of the press conference was Senator Huasi, who had been in the limelight for the past few days, but rarely showed himself. No one doubted whether he would be the next president, because in terms of popularity, no one could compare to him. I hereby declare war on the Nighthawks. This despicable, shameless beast, executioner. The extermination of the drug dealers in the Egel Mountains was facilitated by me. I was the one who asked Mr. Hatch to lead the team. If you have the ability, then come at me. I'll be waiting for you at home. If you're not a coward, then come at me. Don't think that this kind of assassination can make us yield. I swear, I will send you to the guillotine and personally chop off your head. Senator Huisi was furious when he found out that Hutch had been killed. He ignored our attempts to stop him and insisted on fighting the Nighthawks. He is a brave and wise warrior, but we are very worried about him. Are you worried that the Nighthawks will assassinate him? Yes, Nighthawk is a lawless thug. After being provoked by Councilman Huisi today, he will definitely do it. I hope he can protect Mr. Huisi's safety. Sure. Soon, Huisi's declaration of war was pushed to the top of the headlines. The Nighthawk's assassination might have crossed the bottom line of the Babylon government and the bottom line of the Babylon citizens. Other than Huisi, all the other candidates declared war on the evil forces and said that they would not be afraid and would never back down. Some people even used the words of a wise man from the Jade State. Even if you kill one of me, there will be thousands of me who will stand up. In an instant, the citizens were furious. It was an unprecedented feat for the Nighthawks to be able to go against the entire nation by himself. That night, Wang Lan and the other three arrived at Huisi's villa. It was very surprising. Wang Lan originally thought that Huisi's home would be a villa at most, but he didn't expect it to be a manor. The manor was so luxurious that it was even more beautiful than the palace of the Babylon kingdom. Huisi stood at the door in a tuxedo to welcome them personally. He showed both the style of a politician and the manners of a rich man. Dear Mr. Huisi, they are the support team sent by the International Security Committee, the S-rank independent team, Chaos. This is the captain of Chaos, Fire Phoenix, and this is the vice captain, Ice Phoenix. This is Diding and Inglong. Latin introduced them to Huisi as Huisi shook hands with Wang Lan and the other three. Thank you very much for your help. I heard from my close comrade, Hutch, that without your help, we would not have succeeded in eliminating the drug dealers. The Babylon Kingdom will always remember your help. Mr. Huisi, you are too kind. Please come in, gentlemen. I have already prepared your rooms. Do you have any other requests? I have specially prepared a banquet for you. No, you just need to stay in the manor. In the next few days, no matter where you go, you can't be more than 100 meters away from us. Don't worry, within 100 meters, nothing can hurt you. Thank you. A smile appeared on Huasi's face. He liked people who were confident, because confidence often represented power. I originally only issued an A-rank mission, but I didn't expect to receive an S-rank team. I was really surprised. It's nothing. We wanted to go out for a walk anyway. The world is so big that we haven't seen it yet. We just happened to see the mission you issued, so we accepted it. I see. Babylon Kingdom has the most variety of beaches in the world. It is a great place to relax and have fun. There must be one that suits you. Mr. Huasi, is your family very rich? Wang Lan sat at the dining table and looked at the side dish that was filled with food. This is porcelain from the eastern province of Jade State 500 years ago. It is still so well preserved after 500 years. My family started doing business 700 years ago. 500 years ago, my family was the richest in Babylon Kingdom. We owned 70 ports and nearly 1,000 long-distance merchant ships. Unfortunately, 300 years ago, we started to decline. In my generation, we have nothing but this manor. Huasi raised his glass of red wine and gestured to Wang Lan. Mr. Huasi, you are too humble. As far as I know, you're the president of the Babylon Kingdom's Merchant Alliance. That's because they gave face to my ancestors. At this moment, Wang Lan noticed that a little girl seemed to be staring at her. Wang Lan looked over and smiled gently. Your eyes tell me that there's something wrong with you. Can you tell me? Jialing, don't be rude. It's okay, Mr. Huasi. Uncle, why are you wearing a mask? This mask is a little scary. Can't you take it off? Jialing, Uncle is wearing a mask to deter evil people. Also, Uncle's identity is confidential, which means that no one can know about it. Don't be rude. It's okay. It's not good to scare children with a mask. Also, there is no need to keep our identity a secret. Even if our enemies know who we are, they won't be a threat to us. As he spoke, Wang Lan slowly took off his mask. The moment he took off his mask, everyone at the long dining table stopped what they were doing. A few noble ladies even looked at Wang Lan with strange expressions. So young and so handsome. Seeing Wang Lan take off his mask, Jiang Xinyu and the others also took off their masks. To others, the mask might be able to protect their identity and prevent them from being plotted against. But Wang Lan, forget it. Birds of paradise, demons, and spies all wanted him dead. If they could threaten Wang Lan, they would have chopped Wang Lan into pieces a long time ago. Why would they wait until now? The four of them were all handsome men and beautiful women. In the eyes of the Caucasians, they were only 17 or 18 years old. The group of handsome men and beautiful women swallowed their saliva. I didn't expect the members of an S-rank independent team to be so young. S-rank independent teams are all very young, Wang Lan said with a smile. He wasn't being pretentious. The members of an S-rank independent team were all geniuses from all over the world. Geniuses were geniuses because they had achieved results that even adults would be amazed by while others were still playing in the mud. There were very few Star Sea Realm cultivators in their 20s, even in the Big Four of Jade State. But in the S-rank teams of the International Security Committee, there were all of them. The banquet ended in a happy atmosphere. Wang Lan and the others settled down in the room that Huasi had specially arranged for them. On this day, nothing happened. On the second day, nothing happened. On the third and fourth day, Wang Lan and the others secretly protected Huasi without disturbing his work. Huasi was very comfortable with the protection of 100 meters. Even if he was a man, he didn't want to be followed all day long. In the past 5 days, Huasi had been summoned by the president of Babylon 7 times. From this, it could be seen that Huasi was favored by the president. There was no doubt that he would become the president. The president of Babylon wasn't in good health. He had just completed heart bypass surgery half a year ago. On the night of the 6th day, Wang Lan suddenly opened her eyes when she was in a daze from her sleep. When Wang Lan's figure disappeared from the bed, Su Xiangwen, Jiang Xinyu, and the others in the other rooms instantly got up. They took a second to put on their clothes and open the door at the same time. Four petite and agile figures appeared in the manner like ghosts in the night. They landed without a sound and moved like the wind. It was as if they had eyes in the sky, avoiding all the surveillance cameras in the manor. They silently crept to Huasi's room. Then, like ghosts, they passed through the door and arrived in front of Huasi's bed. The four of them took out their daggers and stabbed at Huasi and his wife. Pa! With a soft sound, a hand grabbed the dagger that was thrusting down. The soft noise woke Huasi from his sleep, and the two of them were abruptly awakened. At the same time, Wang Lan and the other three figures flashed. The four female assassins were subdued before they could even react to what had happened. What? Who? When Huasi and his wife turned on the light and saw Wang Lan and the other three's clothes, they sighed in relief. Although they knew it was Wang Lan and the other three, their masks still gave them a cold and eerie feeling. Are they the assassins that Nighthawk sent to assassinate me? As expected, the assassins that killed the former police chief were sent by Nighthawk. Tell me, where is that bastard Nighthawk? Huasi immediately shouted. Don't bother, Wang Lan said calmly and slapped the assassin's head. Pa! Suddenly, the female assassin's head exploded. Blood and brain matter splattered everywhere. Ah! Huasi's wife let out a shrill scream and then fainted. Birds of paradise! Wang Lan's expression changed. Chapter 620. The screams instantly alerted the security guards in Huasi's house. Panicked footsteps could be heard coming up the stairs. With a loud bang, the door was kicked open. Star warriors and special agents with guns all rushed into the room. What they saw was an unforgettable scene. Inside the room, Huasi's wife was shivering under the blankets while Huasi's face was ashen. There were 4 corpses in the room. All of them were headless, and the room was filled with disgusting blood and brain matter. What? What happened? Representative Huasi, are you okay? As for Wang Lan and the others, the manor's security guards already knew about them, so no one suspected Wang Lan and the others. What happened? Assassins have already snuck into my room, and you're still asking me what happened? What do I need you for? If it weren't for Fire Phoenix and the others, you probably wouldn't have found my body until tomorrow. After being scolded by Huasi, the security guards' heads drooped. Huasi stood up gloomily. Clean up the room, Mr. Fire Phoenix. Thank you very much for saving my life. This is what we should do, but unfortunately, I'm afraid the identities of these assassins are not as simple as they seem, Wang Lan said solemnly. I heard you mention the Birds of Paradise before. Do they belong to the terrorist organization, the Birds of Paradise? Probably. They engraved a spell in their brain. If there's a mental imprint or if there's a risk of exposure, their brain will self-destruct. This is the symbol of the Birds of Paradise. Damn it, Huasi roared angrily. Ring, ring, ring. Suddenly, Huasi's phone rang. Hello, it's me. I'm still alive. I'm fine. I didn't expect you guys to be so well-informed. I was just attacked 5 minutes ago. What? Huasi suddenly screamed. After a while, he slowly put down his phone. Mr. Fire Phoenix, 10 senior government officials were attacked at the same time. Other than us, the other 9 were all killed. 3 of them were popular candidates for this election. What are they trying to do? Are they going to declare war on Babylon? Hearing Huasi say this, Wang Lan and the others couldn't help but look at him. Aren't you the only popular candidate in this election? However, the severity of the situation made Wang Lan frown. He had successfully protected Huasi, but was the defense of Babylon's senior official so weak? These assassins were at the pinnacle of Nebula. Even the weakest member of the team, Su Xiangwen, could kill them all with one hand. 10 high-ranking officials had been assassinated at the same time, and 9 of them had succeeded. Even the country of ice and snow didn't have such a lousy defense mechanism back then. Right? Mr. Fire Phoenix, do you mind coming with me to take a look? Of course not. Let's go. This was simply too crazy. 10 minutes later, countless people were woken up by the phone, and some people did not answer even when the phone rang. Especially the president. It was said that the moment he heard the news, his heart felt uncomfortable again, and he almost went to the ICU again. The news media received the news at about the same time as the government officials. Almost at the same time, various media outlets sent out their news feeds. The night owls who were scrolling through the news almost jumped up when they saw the news. What was going on? Did the government of Babylon change? It was raining outside the window. The bodies of the victims were all placed in the hospital's morgue. 9 bodies covered with white cloth. It was a horrifying sight. Wang Lan checked them one by one. They were all killed in their sleep with a single blow. The assassins were like ghosts that came and went without a trace. After checking the bodies, Wang Lan shook his head at Huisi. The assassins were very professional and handled it very cleanly. What are you doing? Didn't I tell you to protect them 24/7? That's how you protect them. Even if you didn't protect them well, how could you let the assassins escape? You don't even know how the assassins came and how they escaped? Outside the morgue, an officer roared crazily. One could imagine the state of the security guards in the corridor outside. Ring, ring, ring. Huisi's phone rang again. His face was gloomy as he took out his phone. After answering the call, his face was full of shock. Mr. Fire Phoenix, the manor called just now. They found a used handkerchief in one of the assassin's pockets. Huh? Wang Lan looked confused. What kind of handkerchief? Huisi opened his phone and held it in front of Wang Lan. His face changed drastically when he saw the handkerchief. It was a disposable handkerchief used by the hotel's guests. But that wasn't the point. The point was that the hotel's name was printed on the handkerchief. How could such a professional assassin make such a low-level mistake? Wang Lan's mind was full of question marks. But since the clue was here, they had to follow it. The 4 of them used a map on Huisi's phone and quickly locked onto the hotel's location. In a flash, the 4 of them disappeared from the room and rushed into the sky. It was raining heavily. Fortunately, Wang Lan and the others' combat uniforms were waterproof. The 4 of them landed on the hotel's rooftop. Su Xiangwen opened his third eye under his cloak. It was already late at night. No, it was even after midnight. Almost all the rooms in the hotel were asleep, but there were still 4 rooms with their lights on. There were 4 girls in each of the 4 rooms. They were still taking turns to shower in the bathrooms. In Su Xiangwen's eyes, the 6 girls were very vigilant. They would occasionally look out the window through the gaps in the curtains. That's them. There are 4 girls in each of the 4 rooms. They are 306,207, 404, and 512 respectively. Split up and subdue them. As soon as Wang Lan finished speaking, the 4 of them disappeared into the rooftop like ghosts. In one of the rooms, a girl was wiping her wet hair as she walked out of the bathroom naked. Suddenly, she saw a scary ghost through the mirror at the door. The girl turned around abruptly and stared nervously at Wang Lan. Who are you? Shouldn't you be screaming under normal circumstances? Wang Lan's low and hoarse voice sounded. In an instant, the 4 figures rushed forward. Wang Lan stood in place without moving. 2 of the girls who were still wearing clothes pulled out daggers from somewhere. The 2 naked girls used their brightly painted nails to attack Wang Lan's throat. Hum! A buzzing sound rang out. The 4 girls were instantly frozen in the air. Their faces were filled with horror. Wang Lan didn't even move a finger, but they were already frozen. Anyone would be terrified in this situation. Several sword auras shot out from Wang Lan's body and pierced their throats. Since they were birds of paradise, there was no value in spiritual imprints. It was better to just kill them to avoid dirtying the hotel. For corpses fell to the ground like dumplings. Wang Lan stepped out softly and came to the corner of the room. A few wet clothes were still dragging there. With a glance, he confirmed that they were the assassin's clothes. There was a knock on the door, and Jiang Xinyu and the other 2 walked into the room. It's all done. Very spicy. Su Xiangwen revealed a wretched smile. It should be them. But since they are birds of paradise, there must be a deeper conspiracy. Wang Lan touched his chin and said indifferently, why did birds of paradise send people to Babylon to cause trouble, integrating drug dealers and mysteriously assassinating important political figures? Even if they wanted to make a name for themselves, they shouldn't have done it in Babylon. And Nighthawk hasn't been arrested. This matter is indeed a bit strange. If these assassins are Nighthawk's people, then does that mean Nighthawk is also Birds of Paradise's people? If they're also Birds of Paradise's people, then why did he integrate drug dealers? Since when did Birds of Paradise need to engage in this kind of business? Even if Birds of Paradise wanted to do this business to make money, Nighthawk's forces should have been eliminated. Nighthawk didn't need to return for revenge. Birds of Paradise wouldn't do things without a purpose. If that's the case, then this assassination might not be for revenge, but for some other purpose. Wang Lan lowered his head and pondered. What other purpose could there be? Who would benefit from killing those 9 high-ranking officials? Could it be that Babylon would compromise with Nighthawk, or even pardon him because he killed a few people? That's impossible. There's another possibility. Wang Lan suddenly thought of something and said in a low voice, "They are a group of professional assassins." Why would professional assassins leave behind something so obvious like a napkin? Wang Lan asked faintly. Could it be that they were careless? The possibility of carelessness isn't high. The most likely possibility is that they deliberately exposed themselves. Deliberately exposed themselves? Isn't that just courting death? CSCC asked, puzzled. They are courting death. Wang Lan suddenly stood up and paced back and forth. They're courting death. Only when they're dead can this matter be resolved. If they want to resolve this matter, it can only mean one thing. They've achieved their goal. They're going to wrap things up and clean up the traces. Clean up the traces for whom? Jiang Xinyu asked. Now that things have developed to this point, we're cleaning up the traces for whoever benefits the most. It is with a heavy heart that I announce the obituary to the entire nation. Just last night, those damned assassins carried out a large-scale assassination of Babylon's high-ranking officials. My dear friends, my trusted companions, in the morning news, Senator Huisi wore a black suit and solemnly announced this unfortunate news to the entire nation. Most of the citizens didn't even know that such a big thing had happened last night. Now that they heard Huisi's words, they all covered their mouths in shock. Some of them even dropped the bread in their mouths and remained unmoved. However, last night, we successfully found the lair of this group of assassins and killed all of them in one fell swoop. After our investigation, we confirmed that these female assassins belong to the Birds of Paradise terrorist organization. Just now, the Birds of Paradise announced that they were responsible for this matter. Babylon will remember this grudge and spare no effort to exact revenge. Our army will be in a state of readiness at all times. Wherever the Birds of Paradise appear, our artillery will fall there. In the president's office, Wang Lan and the other 3 stood in front of the president. The television behind them was still broadcasting Senator Huisi's declaration of war. Chapter 621. Thank you very much for this assistance from the International Security Committee. You have completed this mission perfectly, and I give you a perfect evaluation. Although the mission has been completed, on behalf of Babylon, I sincerely invite you to continue enjoying yourselves for a few more days. Babylon is a beautiful country, and all your expenses will be paid for by Babylon. You can enjoy yourselves for as long as you want. The president's tone was tired, and he didn't seem to be in good spirits. Pardon me for asking, but will the final winner of this election be Senator Huisi? Wang Lan asked calmly. Do I have a choice? Who else could it be? The president laughed bitterly. Although he thought highly of Huisi, he also thought highly of the other 3 candidates. But now, all 3 of them were dead. Who else could he choose? Could he blame Wang Lan and the others for the successful assassination? No, Wang Lan and the others weren't in charge of protecting important politicians. They were already helping Huisi in his hour of need by not letting all 4 candidates be killed. Otherwise, Babylon would definitely become the laughingstock of the world. If there was anyone to blame, Babylon could only blame themselves for being useless. The defense system was useless. The president even wondered if he would be lying in the morgue right now if he was on the list of assassins. President, although our mission has been completed, I have to say that this matter isn't that simple. We know the Birds of Paradise, and we know how they do things. They won't do anything that doesn't benefit them. What good would it do them to assassinate a few important politicians of Babylon? just to vent their anger? This isn't the Birds of Paradise's style. Oh, do you mean? Who's the biggest winner behind this incident? Also, don't you think that Mr. Huissi's victory went too smoothly? Half a year ago, Senator Huissi didn't have an advantage in the election. His status as a business oligarch meant that it was difficult for him to gain the support of the majority of the people. But when did his support start to skyrocket? The president's expression changed when he heard this. The previous 3 encirclements of Egel were led by the police department, right? They lost soldiers and generals. The former head of the police department seemed to have different political views from Huissi, right? The 3 encirclements had resulted in heavy casualties, but the 4th time had gone so smoothly. Although it seems that we were involved, but to be honest, the counterattack we encountered was very small. Those 30,000 drug dealers were almost completely wiped out by us without any resistance. Using the reputation of eliminating the Nighthawks, Mr. Huissi became one of the most popular candidates in the election, but that was only a temporary fanaticism of the citizens. After the craze subsided, the citizens would regain their composure and remember Huissi's identity. The assassination of Mr. Hatch became the fuse that ignited the nation's anger. Whoever expressed their stance first would be recognized by the people. After that, he would use this opportunity to clash fiercely with the mastermind behind the scenes to eliminate other competitors. In the end, he needed to catch all of those assassins in one fell swoop. The final profit and the final result would fall into his hands perfectly. Of course, this is just my guess. I don't have any evidence. We're leaving soon. This is just a kind reminder. Sigh. The president let out a long sigh. Do you think I don't have such suspicions? But if that was the case, what would happen to Babylon? That's why I've been using the excuse that I'm overthinking things. But what you said to me today made me realize that I'm not overthinking things. It's very likely that it's the truth. Mr. Fire Phoenix, I wonder if you're willing to accept an S-rank mission? Mr. President, you mean investigate Huissi and determine if he's innocent. I can't hand Babylon over to someone who's involved with the Birds of Paradise. Yes, but Mr. President, you have to provide me with all of Huissi's information. I know that a lot of information about him is confidential. I need all of it. Yes, your office is in the presidential palace. I'll personally authorize all of your actions. Under the president's arrangement, Wang Lan and the other 3 stayed in the presidential palace. Soon, the information about Huissi was delivered to them. The information was a foot thick. Wang Lan and the other 3 read the information separately. They only finished reading it when the president got off work. Huissi told me that his family has nothing but that manor, but he didn't say that his charity organization manages 73 companies. When nouveau riche, Su Xiangwen couldn't help but say. In Jade State, Su Xiangwen's family could also be considered nouveau riche. But compared to Huissi, Su Xiangwen's family business was only one of Huissi's toes. You really believed his nonsense? If the Huissi family really fell, how could they become the president of the business alliance? They'd be eaten up by others long ago. Huissi's charity organization specializes in taking in orphans. Orphans must be under the age of 13. They'll be provided with free accommodation, education, and medical care. But after they finish their education, they'll have to work for Huissi's company for 12 years. What kind of charity is that? CSCC said angrily. It's already charity to let those orphans live. The door opened, and the president walked into the room with a tired face. Huissi's charity organization doesn't fit the international definition of charity, but it fits the situation of Babylon. 90% of the people in Babylon are poor, and the government can't do anything to help them. If the government spends more than 10 million yuan, it has to be approved by a civilian watchdog. The so-called civilian watchdog is just a representative of the people who control 98% of Babylon's wealth. Every year, there are many orphans in Babylon, but the government can't do anything about it. Huissi's charity has helped the government a lot. It's a win-win situation. Huissi's efforts have paid off, and we've gotten these orphans to live. Is that why Huissi is qualified to be a politician? Wang Lan asked. Yes, this model was set up by Huissi's father when he was still alive. When Huasi took over the family business, this was the only charity organization under his name, so it fits the law. By the way, Mr. President, we've discovered another strange phenomenon. Babylon introduced the soul resonator a long time ago, but since 12 years ago, there's been an imbalance in the awakening rate. The awakening rate in rich families is much higher than that in poor families. Sociologists mentioned this 5 years ago, but we couldn't come to a conclusion after analyzing it. So far, we can only conclude that the poor may have been malnourished since young, and their poor living conditions have caused them to gradually lose the ability to awaken. But in fact, although the awakening of Takashi Hoshi is related to development, it doesn't have much to do with it. There are poor people in other countries, but their awakening rate is still within the normal range. Also, I've discovered another problem, which is that some people will sell their children to orphanages. I've never seen Huasiqian raise a child for charity. This is the first time I've seen Huasiqian raise an orphanage. Huasi's business is very large. 10 years after the orphanage started operating, the Huasi family's profits have increased more than before. They found that the children who graduated from the orphanage have a strong sense of belonging to the Huasi family. They only need to meet the most basic needs of survival, and they only need to pay a small amount of profit to receive 10 times or even dozens of times the return. So, at this point, the president's face was filled with anger and shame. He didn't agree with the Huasi family's actions, but he was powerless to change the situation. It's still because there are too many poor people. Even if they aren't orphans, it's difficult for many families to support so many children. Selling skills to the orphanage reduces the family's burden and allows the children to survive. This is a good choice for many poor families. Also, they don't just buy the children if you sell them. They first give the children a physical test, and then they test their IQ. Wang Lan closed the information in front of him. It's a very popular trend for poor people to sell their children to the orphanage, isn't it? Here's a piece of data. More than 70% of poor families have consulted about selling their children. What a terrifying statistic. These words made the president of Babylon feel even more ashamed. Combined with this phenomenon and the imbalance in the awakening rate of children from ordinary families, I boldly came to a conclusion. Among the children bought by the orphanage, the percentage of Takashi Hoshi awakened is very high. Hearing this, the president of Babylon's expression suddenly changed. Mr. Fire Phoenix, you mean this is a very obvious thing. The percentage of Takashi Hoshi awakened in humans is within a certain range. It's about the same in any country or race in the world. This is the second time I've seen a phenomenon beyond this range. The first time was in Shungda continent of New Blue. The citizens of Shungda continent thought that they were cursed by the gods, but in fact, the king of hell had mastered the advanced talent screening technology of Takashi Hoshi and stole the children with the Takashi Hoshi talent in advance. It's the same phenomenon, but the method is different. Huasi bought the children with the Takashi Hoshi talent in advance. Unfortunately, the percentage of children in the orphanage awakened is not high. Are you sure that the children who were bought participated in the soul resonance ceremony? Wang Lan's words stunned the president of Babylon. Not long ago, there was good news from the genetic engineering department of Jade State. They successfully extracted the X gene, and by observing the activity of the X gene, they can determine whether the child has the Takashi Hoshi talent in advance. This technology may have been discovered by the birds of paradise earlier. I need information on the whereabouts of the children in the orphanage. Wang Lan raised his head and asked. The whereabouts of the children in the orphanage are only known to the charity organization. It's not reported to the government. President Babylon hurriedly said, I can give you a presidential order. You can use the presidential order to investigate the orphanage. Okay. Early the next morning, Wang Lan and the other three brought the presidential order to the orphanage headquarters. At first, the orphanage did not even let Wang Lan and the others in. After seeing the presidential order, they reluctantly opened the door. I'm sorry. Every year, many of our children are adopted by international families. Because of the legendary angel bloodline in Babylon, Every child in Babylon is very beautiful and cute, and they are very popular with international families who can't have children. We will delete the files of the children who are adopted. We are a pure charity organization, and we don't want the children to repay us in the future. Therefore, once the children are adopted, they have nothing to do with us. Chapter 6:22. Although he had already guessed that the orphanage would not cooperate, he did not expect them to be so uncooperative. How could they say that the adopted child had nothing to do with them? The adopted child will be visited every once in a while to prevent the adoptive family from abusing the child. However, Wang Lan did not give up. Then we should be able to check your archives, right? Of course, but you can't look at the business investment company. It involves a lot of business secrets. We understand. In the charity fund manager's office, they turned on the system under the other party's surveillance. Jiang Xinyu took out her laptop, and 7 or 8 pairs of eyes immediately stared at her. Can I go online and receive an email? Jiang Xinyu asked coldly. Of course, but please don't do any hacking, the fund manager said indifferently. Jiang Xinyu opened her mailbox and received an email. Then, she closed her laptop and put it away. Seeing Jiang Xinyu's actions, the fund manager breathed a sigh of relief and stopped paying attention. What about the family vetting for the adopted child? Why isn't there any information about them? Wang Lan asked. In Babylon, it's already a blessing if someone is willing to adopt a child. There's no vetting information. Aren't you afraid that they will buy the child to engage in illegal activities? Sorry, I have no comment. Wang Lan raised his head and looked into the fund manager's eyes. Wang Lan's gaze was very sharp. The fund manager swallowed hard, and the sweat on his forehead overflowed at a speed visible to the naked eye. I understand. Thank you for your cooperation. Wang Lan stood up and left without saying a word. Walking out of the charity, Wang Lan and the other 3 found a nearby coffee shop. Although they took off their masks, the 4 of them were not dressed strangely. Jiang Xinyu turned on her computer. Bing Shui had successfully seized the authority of the charity's administrator. Wang Lan, 12 couples will go to the orphanage this afternoon to go through the adoption procedures, Jiang Xinyu suddenly said. This log has been encrypted. There must be something wrong. Then we'll go take a look in the afternoon. At 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Wang Lan and the other 3 suddenly appeared in Fish Market and headed straight to a welfare center under Hui Si's charity organization. In the orphanage, 12 children were called to an independent office. In front of them were 24 young men and women. Children, from now on, they will be your parents. You must forget about your life in the orphanage and treat them as your biological parents. God will bless you for your new life. Thank you, Dean. Dean, I don't want to leave. Can I switch places with Jiar? Sorry, I can't. The procedures have been completed. You may leave with your children. Okay, goodbye. The group of parents shook hands with the director and were about to open the door when Wang Lan and the others barged in. Who are you? The director of the orphanage immediately screamed, and the children were so scared that they hid beside their nominal parents. Oh my God, please don't hurt me. When the group of parents saw Wang Lan and the other 3's disguises and masks, they thought that they were criminals who were trying to rob them. They skillfully covered their heads and squatted down. Show me your IDs, Wang Lan said as he walked up to one of them. Who are you? What do you want? The director of the orphanage mustered up her courage and asked. However, under Wang Lan's gaze, she obediently retreated to the corner and squatted down. The middle-aged man who was asked to show his ID trembled as he took out his ID. Wang Lan took out his phone and scanned it. The information that popped up was that he was unemployed. That's strange. A poor man who doesn't have a job would adopt a child. His clothes must be worth a lot, right? Huh. Oh, I understand. This set of clothes is yours. The man instantly understood what Wang Lan meant and hurriedly unbuttoned his shirt. Stop. Who told you to adopt a child? Tell me who's behind this. I'll tell you. A skinny middle-aged man quickly raised his hand and shouted. The speed of his betrayal was beyond Wang Lan's understanding of spineless people. He raised his hand without hesitation. He learned from the local people that they were all instructed by a human trafficker, Barbie, to adopt children. Then, they would send the children to a warehouse by the sea, where Barbie would be waiting for them. Wang Lan immediately called the president of Babylon and asked him to send someone he could trust to the orphanage to take care of the aftermath. After that, Wang Lan asked CSCC and Jiang Xinyu to stay behind to take care of the children. Then, he disappeared with Su Xiangwen. The long coastline and the excellent port environment that could be seen everywhere allowed Babylon to make a lot of money just by relying on the ports. However, the ones who made money were the rich people who owned these ports. The dividends of the geographical advantage had nothing to do with the ordinary people. Seeing these ports swallow up a lot of profits every day, was there no one who was jealous? Of course there was. Naturally, it gave rise to countless illegal immigrants and smugglers. The long coastline and the good ports were occupied on a large scale. However, there were also many bad ports that were very good for smuggling. This kind of thing was beyond the government's control, and they were too lazy to care. There was a saying among the people who lived by the sea: if you wanted to get rich, you should go to sea. If you wanted to be poor for the rest of your life, you should go to sea too. The former went to sea for smuggling, while the latter went to sea for fishing. This was a remote fishing village. The fishing village was close to the coast and the forest. In the forest, dozens of warehouses of different sizes were secretly built. In one of the warehouses, there were already more than 20 frightened children hugging each other and trembling. In front of them, a fierce-looking man with a scar on his face was smoking a cigar and looking at them as if they were goods. "Brother, the quality of these goods is not bad." An unhealthy, thin young man with dyed yellow hair smiled, revealing a face full of wrinkles and a mouth full of yellow teeth. "Anyway, they're going to be sent out soon. I'll pick 2 to play with." "You can't touch these." "Why can't you touch them?" "Anyway, they have nothing to do with us after the goods are handed over. You won't die or lose 2 pieces of meat if you play with them." Slap. A slap stunned the young man. "I said you can't touch this batch. Whoever touches them will die." "Yes, yes." The yellow-haired man was so frightened that he immediately shrank behind Barbie. Barbie was a little uneasy. She looked at her watch in annoyance. "Why aren't we here yet? It's quite far." "According to the plan, it'll take another half an hour." The moment the underling finished speaking, Wang Lan and Su Xiangwen suddenly rose from the ground. Su Xiangwen stood in front of the group of children. "Who are you?" Barbie stood up from her chair in shock. Her underlings took out their guns and pointed them at Wang Lan and Su Xiangwen. Wang Lan looked at Barbie indifferently. "You're Barbie?" "Yes." "Yes, who are you? What do you plan to send these children? Who ordered you to do this?" "Open fire." A barrage of gunshots rang out. The children's screams instantly exploded. Wang Lan only raised his hand gently. One by one, the bullets stopped in front of Wang Lan. Wang Lan's figure moved forward slowly like a ghost. Bullets rained down like a broken string of beads. Chi, several sword auras shot out, instantly killing all the gunmen who had raised their guns. When Wang Lan stood in front of Barbie, there was no one standing around. Wang Lan slapped her palm toward Bai. Her mental energy shot out and instantly invaded Bai's mind. Soon, Wang Lan let go of Barbie's head. There was a smile in his eyes. "You found him?" "Yes, the mastermind behind Barbie is called Bai Duofen. You might not remember this name, but his other identity is the vice president of the business alliance." "Huisi is indeed suspicious," Su Xiangwen said. Wang Lan called the president of Babylon. "I've found the mastermind." "The mastermind is... Are we competing in points?" The president suddenly said weakly. "What's going on?" Wang Lan frowned, having a bad premonition. "Bai Duofen was killed 10 minutes ago," the president said with a sigh. "Really? Where is it?" "In Bai Duofen's manor." "Can I go take a look?" "Of course." After the president's people took over the children, Wang Lan met up with Jiang Xinyu and immediately rushed to Bai Duofen's manor. "Wang Lan, I've asked these children. They all had their blood tested half a month ago. They should all have the talent of Takashi Hoshi," Jiang Xinyu said. "Yes, of course. Otherwise, where would the birds of paradise get so many people? Traders alone wouldn't be able to achieve this." The 4 of them appeared in Bai Duofen's manor. At this moment, the manor had already been cordoned off by the police. Outside the cordoned-off area were countless reporters. Some reporters were even sitting at the scene and broadcasting. Dear viewers, just now, the famous entrepreneur and philanthropist, Mr. Bydwoffen, was attacked by a bomb in his home. Currently, the police have sealed off the scene. As you can see, Mr. Bydwoffen was enjoying the afternoon sun when suddenly there was an explosion. A huge pit 5 meters in diameter appeared on the ground. Bydwoffen's wife, son, and granddaughter were all killed in the explosion. Bydwoffen himself was blown to smithereens. When Wang Lan and the others arrived at the scene, Huasi, who was in charge of the scene, suddenly narrowed his eyes and hurried forward. Mr. Fire Phoenix, are you still staying in Babylon? I didn't see you for the past few days. I thought you had returned to China. The president said that we could stay here and spend as much as we want, so we stayed for a few more days to enjoy the beach and the waves. Suddenly, we heard the explosion, so we came to take a look. What happened? Damn those birds of paradise. I just declared war on them, and they immediately launched a terrorist attack. They didn't have the guts to attack me, so they actually attacked Bydwoffen. They should all go to hell. Can we go in and take a look? Of course. Suddenly, Su Xiangwen's face revealed a trace of a smile. Wang Lan, this is a pleasant surprise. Seeing Su Xiangwen's expression, Wang Lan also revealed a smile. Where is it? By the coast behind the mountain. Wang Lan and Su Xiangwen disappeared with a whoosh. Huasi's face was instantly filled with astonishment, but his expression quickly changed to one of horror. Impossible. This is impossible. Chapter 6:23. Many of the manors were close to the coast and were called seascape manors. There was a tunnel under the manor. If it were anyone else, this tunnel would be very hidden and difficult to find. However, in front of Su Xiangwen, this tunnel had nowhere to hide. The two of them appeared by the sea in a whoosh. At this moment, Bydwoffen and a beautiful maid appeared from the hidden exit of the tunnel. When the two of them saw Wang Lan and Su Xiangwen, their round eyes were surprisingly funny. Are you surprised? Are you surprised? Bydwoffen slowly took off his hat, and his silver hair danced in the sea breeze. Mr. Bydwoffen, I'm sorry. The maid beside him knelt in front of Bydwoffen, pulled out a dagger, and stabbed it into her own heart. Bydwoffen looked at the dead maid on the ground and let out a long sigh. Mr. Bydwoffen, you're really capable. Even the people trained by the Birds of Paradise are so loyal to you. I think in the Birds of Paradise's plan, you should have been blown to pieces in the explosion just now. I was the one who sent him to the training island. Bydwoffen said calmly, you must be the raging team of the International Security Committee. I've already said that Huasi's plan was to shoot himself in the foot. Sigh, why do I feel like you're the one who shot himself in the foot instead of dying? Su Xiangwen chuckled and said jokingly. The president of Babylon personally came to the scene. Under the flashes of many reporters, the president waved his hand gently with his cane, and the agents behind him swarmed up and restrained Huasi. Mr. President, you don't have to say anything. Bydwoffen has already been captured by the raging team. When we go to another place, I'll give you a chance to slowly explain yourself. The interrogation began quickly. Huasi was just a rich man or a politician, so the interrogation didn't take much effort. After prying open Bydwoffen's mouth, Huasi's mouth was also opened very quickly. Just as Wang Lan guessed, Huasi's idea of entering politics started from his father's generation. However, Babylon's system meant that it was difficult for people like Huasi to gain the support of 90% of the poor. Therefore, 50 years ago, Huasi's companies began to transform. They first established a wholly owned charity organization, then put all the companies under their name under the charity organization through equity transactions. This way, the Hua family only had one charity organization left. It took them nearly 30 years to complete the transformation. Even so, it was still difficult for the Haas family to rule the Babylon kingdom. Coincidentally, his contact with the Birds of Paradise gave him a chance to turn things around. The Birds of Heaven had great power, while the trade alliance led by Huasi had great resources. The two complemented each other perfectly. Huasi used his advanced technology to select orphans who could awaken Takashi Hoshi's innate talent. He then sent them to the Birds of Paradise's training base for training. After the training, the orphans would become Huasi's weapons. Until now, only the first batch of children had completed their training. After all, the shortest time to train a Takashi Hoshi was 10 years, and the training of the Birds of Paradise was extremely cruel. Out of 100 children, perhaps less than 10 would graduate. However, Huasi was impatient. He didn't want to wait another 8 to 10 years to become the president, so he started to plan ahead of time. First, he used Babylon's hatred for the drug dealers to put the Nighthawks in front of the stage as live targets. As for asking for help from the International Security Committee, that was just an accident. Huasi wasn't the only smart person in Babylon. The Babylon president wasn't stupid either. After realizing that there might be internal problems, he immediately asked for help from the International Security Committee. Although Babylon's defense was weak, it wasn't weak to the point where people could easily assassinate high-ranking officials. However, from Huasi's point of view, the arrival of Wang Lan and the others didn't affect his plan. The plan was still going on. He used the annihilation of 30,000 drug dealers to successfully raise his prestige. Then he used the assassins he trained to provoke the hatred of the people while eliminating other competitors. This move of killing 2 birds with 1 stone was indeed beautiful. However, Huasi's nature as a businessman also exposed a fatal flaw. In pursuit of safety and low risk, he painted the snake and made the other candidates his only choice. This made Wang Lan suspicious, even if Huasi put on a show of self-injury. However, could he hide it from Wang Lan's sharp eyes? Where is the training base of the Birds of Paradise? Wang Lan asked in a low voice. I request to be spared the death penalty. Huasi raised his dead fish eyes and said calmly. Impossible. The Babylon president roared as he slammed his walking stick on the ground. Because of you, so many high-ranking government officials and soldiers died. If I don't cut you into pieces, I won't be able to quell the anger of the people. Then don't think you can get any information from me. There are many things that I don't know about the Birds of Paradise's training base. Do you think I'm negotiating with you? Wang Lan smiled faintly. You should know that there's something called a spiritual imprint in this world, right? In front of a spiritual imprint, you have no secrets. However, in the end, you will still be turned into an idiot and hanged. Seeing Wang Lan's faint smile, Huasi's face instantly turned as white as paper. Wang Lan stood up with a whoosh, and Huasi immediately trembled. I'll talk. In the Sea of Skulls, there's a lone island in the middle of the Sea of Skulls. The Birds of Paradise's training base is there. Impossible. The currents in the Sea of Skulls are very complicated, and there are many hidden reefs. There are terrifying hurricanes of level 15 and above there all year round. No one can get close to the Sea of Skulls, let alone pass through the storm and reach the center. Normal people can't, but Takashi Hoshi can. When we get close, the Birds of Paradise will send people to pick us up. Understood. Wang Lan stood up. Mr. Fire Phoenix, do you want me to send an army to help? If the Sea of Skulls environment is really that bad, can your army reach it? Forget it. Wang Lan and the other 3 left the meeting room. He was a little hesitant about whether to eliminate Wang Lan or not. It wasn't that he felt that the Birds of Paradise shouldn't be eliminated, but he was worried that the Birds of Paradise's training base might be a trap. After going through the sequence of events in his mind, Wang Lan immediately made up his mind. If they encountered any danger, he would directly bring Jiang Xinyu and the others back to his home. Hey, Dyson, I found information about an island base of the Birds of Paradise in the Babylon Nation. I'm requesting to eliminate it. Is that so? Do you need reinforcements? I'm afraid that the Birds of Paradise are already on guard. I'm worried that they will run away. I'm going to take action immediately. All right then. Be careful. Good luck. After hanging up, Wang Lan looked at the 3 people around him and said, Let's go. The 4 of them put on their masks again. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. They turned into 4 streams of light and rushed into the sky. Although Su Xiangwen and CSCC were still at the Galaxy Realm, they were already at the peak of the Galaxy Realm. CSCC, in particular, already felt the opportunity to break through. In addition to the two super experts in Wang Lan and Jiang Xinyu, the four-man team was equivalent to a Takashi Hoshi squadron. Even in the International Security Committee, where experts were as common as clouds, an S-rank team was equivalent to a large company in terms of combat power. The four of them cut through the void like fighter jets. In less than half an hour, they arrived at the Sea of Skulls. The Sea of Skulls was the area where the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans collided. The climate here had always been very abnormal. Apart from the Takashi Hoshi, human technology was still unable to reach this place. The terrifying hurricane would tear apart everything in the air, regardless of whether it was an ordinary seabird or a strong bird of prey. The only way to enter the center of the Sea of Skulls was to rush into the eye of the whirling airflow from an altitude of more than 10,000 meters. This wasn't difficult for Wang Lan and the others at all. With a boom, they rushed into the eye of the whirlpool. The dense water vapor was not clouds at all. Instead, it was like a high-speed washing machine. The tornado formed by the clouds was like a space-time tunnel. The vision in front of them suddenly cleared. A huge butterfly-like island appeared in front of them. On the island, many people were busy moving equipment back and forth. On the shore of the island, there were 7 to 8 sealed conical ships. They should be large submarines. It really is advanced technology. I feel that even the White Eagle country does not have such advanced equipment. Be more confident. Get rid of the feeling. The four of them floated in the air like 4 black dots. Wang Lan took out his Zanpakuto. In an instant, the blade shattered and turned into a sword of light. Flying bird of light, rain. The sword of light instantly exploded, and a firework silently exploded in the sky. Countless light spots turned into sword energy and rushed down from the sky like a drizzle. Chi-chi-chi, boom, boom, boom. In an instant, the birds of Paradise's camp suffered a wave of attacks. Enemy attack. The birds of Paradise's alarm sounded. From hidden corners, cannons appeared and pointed to the sky. Tongues of fire spewed out. Countless bullets and artillery shells poured down on the four of them. But they could only do this wave of attacks. In an instant, the agile rain of light shattered all the automatic fire. Wang Lan waved his hand. A huge formation appeared in the sky, and a formation also appeared on the island. Seeing this, Jiang Xinyu smiled faintly. A familiar scene occurred. Heaven and earth millstone. In the sky, countless meteors wrapped in flames smashed down. On the ground, lava raged. In an instant, the island trembled violently, as if it was the end of the world. When did Su Xiangwen and CSCC see such a fierce side of Wang Lan? Such a fierce scene was only seen by Jiang Xinyu in the alternate dimension. Most of the birds of Paradise's subordinates were swallowed by the flames before they could even understand what was going on. This was not the end. Wang Lan's body emitted a beautiful light. Countless sword energy fell like rain and fiercely bombarded the island. What the hell? Lan Zi, why you're going to take care of everything by yourself? What do you want us to do? Su Xiangwen came back to his senses and gulped as he asked. That's a good question. To be honest, I don't know either. Wang Lan floated in the air like a god. Then he slightly moved, spread out a little. I just came up with a move, and I want to see its power. Su Xiangwen and the others quickly spread out. Wang Lan raised his hand and activated the phoenix form. The 5-colored phoenix form activated. A ball of spiritual energy gathered in Wang Lan's hand. Wang Lan fused all the attributes he grasped into a huge ball in his hand. This was the inspiration he had when he saw the Azure Emperor destroy the city gates by Jadama. As a full attribute master, it would be reasonable if he didn't use him. Go! A huge ball of energy fell to the ground. With a boom, the four of them felt a buzzing sound in their ears. The aftermath of the explosion swept through the sky. The storm above their heads became even more violent. After an unknown amount of time, the aftermath gradually calmed down. But when she lowered her head to take a look, even Wang Lan herself was shocked. Chapter 6:24. It was as if the island beneath their feet had been swallowed by a huge beast. Accompanied by a huge whirlpool, it slowly sank to the bottom of the sea. It's not too much to say that it's a nuclear bomb, right? Su Xiangwen asked in horror as he looked at the island that had already disappeared. It's also my first time using it, so I'm not sure of its power. Wang Lan stuttered. In the future, unless they were in an isolated space or in no man's land, they definitely couldn't use this move. Mother asterisk Kerr, its power was too great. Destroy Birds of Paradise training base. Reward: 300,000 experience points, 30,000 skill points. In his mind, the system's voice rang out again. Let's go, it's time to go back. Time slowly passed, and a year had already passed. In this year, the entire sky blue planet could be considered peaceful. If there was anything that wasn't peaceful, it would be the sudden rise of a legendary team on the international stage. The S-rank team under the International Security Committee should be composed of people from the Jade State. The team's name was Desolate, and the team's captain was Fire Phoenix. In the years since their debut, they had completed 22 S-rank missions and 10 A-rank missions. Moreover, their completion rate was perfect. For others, they could complete S-rank missions because they had the strength to complete them. For the Desolate team, perhaps because the highest difficulty of their missions was S-rank, they could only use perfect to announce that this wasn't their limit. The International Security Committee had 12 S-rank teams, and the Desolate team was the first team. They weren't the first team, but the only one. In this year, Wang Lan's strength hadn't increased substantially. Although he had successfully advanced from Star C6 to Star C7, he was still quite a distance away from Star C8. Jiang Xinyu had caught up, and not long ago, she had successfully broken through to the late stage of Star C realm. She was only 22 years old, yet she had already reached the late stage of the Star C realm. If not for the fact that she was always by Wang Lan's side and being overshadowed by Wang Lan's radiance, Jiang Xinyu would have been a resplendent star no matter where she went. No one doubted whether Jiang Xinyu could break through to the Star Soul realm. She had at least 10 years. CSCC had already reached the middle stage of the Astral Sea realm. With the same amount of resources, CSCC, whose talent was not inferior to Jiang Xinyu's, had erupted with terrifying potential. On the contrary, Su Xiangwen was at the bottom of the team, having just reached the Star Sea realm. However, Su Xiangwen's state of mind was good, and he was not the least bit disappointed. In his own words, he was already very satisfied to be able to break through to the Star Sea realm in this lifetime. Moreover, Su Xiangwen's value lay in his heavenly eye. After breaking through to the Star Sea realm, the heavenly eye had finally evolved an offensive ability. A beam of light of judgment shot out from the heavenly eye, instantly piercing through the target. Other than Wang Lan, no one in the team could withstand the power of the heaven's eye. Not even Jiang Xinyu could. Boom, boom, boom. A series of violent explosions rang out as cannon fire rumbled. A fierce battle broke out in a military base on an island. The advanced automatic turrets fired at the figures flying in the sky. One by one, the Takashi Hoshi charged into the sky with Takashi Hoshi. The military base, which had thousands of people, was in chaos at this moment. Above their heads, for mysterious people wearing black cloaks with red clouds floated in the air like gods, judging the military base below their feet. The battle lasted for a very short time. In less than 10 minutes, all the resistance that could be seen had already disappeared. The cannon fire was muted, and corpses were strewn everywhere. Wang Lan and the other three slowly descended from the sky. In the ruins, a few pieces of rubble suddenly flew up, and a bearded man with a face full of blood drilled out of the ruins. Bah! The bearded man spat, but his body instantly stiffened. In his field of vision, there were only 4 figures standing above the ruins. The sea breeze blew at their cloaks, making rustling sounds. Desolate, Huot Delen, the S-rank traitor of the Blue Nation, the chief culprit who once caused the deaths of thousands of people in a small town. It's you, right? Do you have any last words? Desolate, you're finished. You're completely finished. You've already reached the top of our extermination list. Don't think that just because you destroyed a few of our bases that we can't do anything to you. I'll be watching you from hell. Oh, that's an honor. But why do I remember that the top of the Birds of Paradise's extermination list isn't the Jade State's Wang Lan? In the past year, Wang Lan has been very obedient. Now it's your desolate. Just wait for the Birds of Paradise's fury. So it's like that. Wang Lan slowly reached out and took off the mask on his face. The moment the bearded man saw Wang Lan's face, his eyes instantly widened. Do you know me? No. If you don't know me, then why are you showing such an expression? All right, can you die now? Wang Lan lightly flicked a finger. Right at this moment, a distortion suddenly appeared in the void. A figure strangely appeared, turning into an afterimage and inserting itself in front of Wang Lan. Wang Lan's finger was immediately caught by a ball of distorted ripples. The other party's figure flashed, and he grabbed Hoderlin. His figure flashed. It had been a long time since he had saved someone from Wang Lan's hands. Although it was the first time they had fought, Wang Lan knew that the person in front of him was difficult to deal with. However, he didn't have time to consider the other's identity and strength. His figure instantly flashed and chased after the shadow. The shadow in front of him suddenly turned around and fiercely attacked Su Xiangwen with a palm. The terrifying killing intent instantly froze the space, making Wang Lan feel as if he had fallen into an ice cellar. Wang Lan's expression changed greatly. His figure instantly exploded and appeared in front of Su Xiangwen once again. A holy shield appeared in front of Wang Lan and fiercely collided with the opponent's attack. Boom! A ball of fire exploded, and a terrifying shockwave swept out, instantly surpassing the speed of sound. The white clouds in the sky were instantly scattered and disappeared. Wang Lan's expression instantly turned cold. He looked in the direction that the opponent had disappeared with a deep frown. Jiang Xinyu and CSCC hurried to Wang Lan and asked anxiously, "Wang Lan, are you okay?" After a long time, Wang Lan could only squeeze out 2 words so strong. Someone who could take someone away from Wang Lan must be at least a title battle pet warrior, right? CSCC asked hesitantly. More than that, that person's strength is not below mine. Su Xiangwen was saved, but Su Xiangwen didn't look well. He looked gloomy and looked at Wang Lan with an apologetic expression. "Lanji, I'm sorry. If it weren't for me, you would have been able to stop him." Wang Lan patted Su Xiangwen's shoulder and comforted him. "So what if I stopped him?" I wasn't confident that I could make him stay. In fact, Wang Lan knew that Su Xiangwen was under a lot of pressure in the past 6 months. In the past, he was almost the same as CSCC, but since CSCC reached the middle stage of StarCraft realm, Su Xiangwen's cultivation was much more intense than before. Wang Lan took out his phone. "It's done. Let them come and deal with the aftermath." "Understood. Thank you for your hard work." When the naval fleet approached, Wang Lan and the other 3 turned into a ray of light and rushed into the sky. On the naval fleet, the soldiers of the kingdom of Bulu saluted together and watched Wang Lan and the other 3 disappear completely. They flew directly back to the International Security Committee. This was a privilege that only an S-level operation team could enjoy. The rushing wind blew their hats away, and their hair danced elegantly like fairies. A passenger plane broke through the clouds. In the passenger plane, a little girl looked out of the window in a daze. Wang Lan turned to look at the little girl's innocent and ignorant eyes and smiled at her. "Mom, there's someone flying outside the window. Don't talk nonsense." "We're on a plane." After flying for 4 hours, the 4 slowly landed in the base. After confirming their identities, the sensor elevator under their feet activated, and Wang Lan and the other 3 entered the underground base. "Fire Phoenix, you're back?" "Yes, Dragon Knight." "Why? Are you going out on a mission?" "Yes. A very difficult alternate space has opened. The alien beasts inside have an average strength of the galaxy realm. That will be a tough battle. Good luck." The Raging Desolation team was very popular in the International Security Committee. Although the Raging Desolation team had outstanding achievements, they were never arrogant and were humble and polite to everyone. All of them were 7th level agents, which was unimaginable in other teams. You guys go back and rest. I'll report. He entered the report room and turned on the video call. Oh, Fire Phoenix, you're back so soon? Leo's voice sounded from the monitor. Let me guess. Did you guys complete the mission perfectly this time? You guys have done so well every time. Mr. Leo, are you the only one on duty today? Yes, they're so despicable. They actually arranged for me to be the only one on duty. Oh my God, it's my youngest daughter's birthday today. I promised her that I would go home early. No, didn't your youngest daughter celebrate her birthday last month? That was the international calendar. This time, it's the lunar calendar. You're not from the Jade State, so why are you celebrating the lunar calendar? Wang Lan was speechless. Come on, tell me how successful the mission was this time. How did you send those bastards to meet the gods? No, those villains should go to hell and never meet the gods. I'm sorry. I couldn't deal with Woodellen and let him escape. Leo's expression froze. This doesn't make sense. What's going on? At the start, everything went well. We also successfully dealt with the battle. But when we were killing Woodellen, a mysterious expert suddenly appeared and saved Woodellen from my hands. Wait, do you mean that someone saved Woodellen right in front of you? Leo asked in disbelief. Yes. Although I was careless, the other party was very strong. They were not any weaker than me. Is it someone from the Birds of Paradise? I'm not sure, but I can only assume so. Is there no information on this person in our intelligence network? How is that possible? Leo exclaimed. Didn't the #1 expert of the Birds of Paradise, Sony, die in your hands? Even if Sony came back to life, he wouldn't be able to save someone from under your nose. Birds of Paradise actually has such an expert. This is definitely bad news. All right, Leo suddenly asked again. What was that person's move? Are there any clues we can investigate? That person's move is very strange. The move was a bit like Yulia's Holy Light skill. The power was stronger than Yulia's Holy Light skill. I exchanged a move with that person, and that person's energy was filled with negative energy. Okay, I will pay more attention. Although you didn't manage to kill Woodellen, you still destroyed their base. Your mission is still a success. Thank you. Chapter 6:25. Also, you've already destroyed 10 of the Birds of Paradise's bases. Is there still no news of their headquarters? Please, Mr. Leo, you can't count on me alone, okay? The agents of the International Security Committee are all over the world. So many people are looking for you. Why are you focusing on me? Because you're strong enough. All right, I won't rush you. As usual, your achievement points will be recorded. You have a month's vacation. You can take as much time as you want. Thank you. At the same time, on the other side, the surface of the sea was slightly undulating. Flocks of seabirds suddenly soared into the sky and then crashed into the sea. A mysterious figure floated in the air, holding Hoadlin, who had been shaken to the point where his eyes were blank and his mouth was foaming. No one would have thought that the astral sea realm expert, the infamous Hoadlin, would actually look like a salted fish that had been hollowed out. Suddenly, the mysterious person grabbed Hoadlin and slowly lifted him up. Speak. Where's the Birds of Paradise's headquarters? Ka. Hoadlin opened his mouth and let out meaningless sounds. You're not going to speak? The mysterious person coldly shouted. My throat. Hoadlin felt like he was about to be strangled to death. What the F***ck do you want me to say? The mysterious person let go of Hoadlin's throat, but Hoadlin was still floating in the air, showing no signs of falling. Cough. Hoadlin violently coughed. Who are you? Me? I'm an angel. The mysterious person said with a proud tone. Tell me, where's the Birds of Paradise's headquarters? I can't reveal the location of the Birds of Paradise's headquarters. Humph, you think I can't get it just because you don't say it? As long as I imprint your memories, what secret can you hide from me? No, it's not that I don't want to say it, it's that I can't. There's a technique engraved in my head. As long as I say the secret, or if someone imprints it in my mind, the technique will activate and my head will explode. Is that so? The mysterious person sneered and placed his hand on Hoadlin's head. Hoadlin's expression immediately changed. In the end, he resigned himself to his fate and closed his eyes. Perhaps the next scene would be his brain turning into mush. Boom. A powerful spiritual force invaded his mind and instantly shattered the spell. Far away in the headquarters of the Birds of Paradise, in a dark room, a silver-haired girl was quietly reading a book. Suddenly, the girl's face changed greatly, and a flush of red appeared on her pale face. PFFF, he spat out a mouthful of blood, dyeing the pages of the book in his hand red. My technique was actually broken by someone. The young girl's face was filled with disbelief. In this world, there was actually an existence whose spiritual power surpassed hers. Dylan's consciousness was very clear, and the feeling of his head exploding did not come. He could even clearly feel that the other party was reading his memories, but his mind was unusually clear. Both parties involved in the spiritual engraving needed to cooperate. Once they didn't cooperate, the one being engraved would immediately become an idiot. He didn't even cooperate, yet the other party was able to engrave the seal without destroying his brain? What kind of godly level was this? Soon, the other party released Dylan's head, turned around, and disappeared. Dylan stared blankly at the direction where the mysterious man had disappeared, his face full of confusion. Leaving just like that? Letting me go just like that? In the next moment, Dylan suddenly realized an even more ecstatic fact. The spiritual engraving in his mind seemed to have disappeared. In other words, from today onwards, Dylan, have completely broken free from the control of the Birds of Paradise. I'm free. Suddenly, Dylan lost his footing, and his body fell from the sky like a meteor. What plans do you guys have for a month of vacation? In the camp, under 4 umbrellas, Wang Lan and the other 3 were lying on deck chairs, looking at the blue sky and white clouds in the sky. This year, we've been all over the world, but there's still one place we haven't been to. Jiang Xinyu slowly took off her sunglasses and raised her eyebrows at Wang Lan. Recently, White Eagle has been a bit arrogant. I want to go take a look. White Eagle. Not bad. I haven't been there either. Let's go together. I won't be going. Su Xiangwen lazily turned over. My Lingling has been calling me every day to ask when I'm coming back. And if I'm going back, I'm afraid there'll be more color on my head. I won't be going either. CSCC picked up her drink, took a sip, and said faintly, I haven't been back for a year. I heard that my nephew was born. I want to go and hug him. Are you too sure? Wang Lan asked again. What's there to not be sure about? We've been forced to be fed dog food by you guys. It's fine when we're on a mission, but now that we're on vacation, we have to put up with you guys? Do you think I'm stupid? Since Su Xiangwen and CSCC decided to go home, Wang Lan didn't force them. Takashi Hoshi's style of doing things was to make a decision and then do it. Immediately, Wang Lan took out his phone and booked 2 tickets to White Eagle. At night, Wang Lan and CSCC stayed in the dorm to download guides. Nowadays, information technology was so advanced, there was no need to plan their own itinerary. Even if they didn't follow a group, they could still find suitable routes and detailed guides. The only thing they had to worry about was money. However, for 2 people who didn't lack money, it wasn't a problem. Early in the morning, Wang Lan and the other 3 drove to the airport. All 4 of them had portable space equipment. No matter how many specialties they brought, it looked like they were all alone. The flight to White Eagle was an hour earlier than their return flight, so Wang Lan and the others checked in first. Just as they finished checking in and boarding the plane, the National Strategy and Security Bureau in White Eagle suddenly sounded an alarm. What's the situation? Did a super criminal launch a terrorist attack? Tell me what's going on. Did our heroes go to protect them? No, it's an alarm from Wilson Airport. A black staff member skillfully operated the computer. 2 important people have boarded the flight to Garter, triggering the alarm. The plane hasn't taken off yet. What important people would trigger the alarm here? Even if the president or king of another country came. The supervisor looked at the 2 photos that popped up on the screen and immediately shut up. Oh my God, identity number, Fire Phoenix, belonging to the International Security Committee's S-level independent team, Chaos. Note, this should be a super S-level. Captain Fire Phoenix, Vice Captain Fire Phoenix. Warning, extremely powerful, extremely dangerous. After 10 hours of flight, the plane's altitude slowly descended and finally landed steadily in Garter International Airport. Wang Lan was dressed in a handsome casual outfit. She looked formal and serious, but also casual and unrestrained. Jiang Xinyu was dressed in a light purple trench coat, with a tight skirt, 2 straight long legs. Well, it couldn't be compared to CSCC's long legs. Fortunately, Jiang Xinyu had a good figure. As long as the clothes were matched well, her legs would appear long. A handsome man and a beautiful woman combination was rare, even in the airport of this international metropolis, so they frequently attracted curious gazes. The two walked out of the airport hand in hand, and 3 mysterious people in black suits came up to them. Walking at the front was a white Mediterranean man. His hair was already shiny and shiny. "Welcome to the country of freedom. May I ask if the 2 strong people are here to carry out a mission or to have fun?" The other party's attitude was very strange. He had to maintain a dignified interrogation tone, but he also had a fearful expression, as if he was afraid that his words would cause Wang Lan to be unhappy. Seeing that the other party was so tired of pretending, Wang Lan laughed unkindly. "Does White Eagle have to be like this? You should be the CAI, right? We don't eat people. There's no need to be so nervous. Relax." Wang Lan's words didn't make the other party relax. He still had a serious expression. One is the captain of the Chaos Squad, Fire Phoenix, and the other is the vice captain of the Chaos Squad, Ice Phoenix. How can we not be nervous? Please tell us, why did you come to White Eagle? Interrogation? Jiang Xinyu asked unhappily. Of course not. It's just a routine interrogation. After all, everyone knows that the Chaos Squad only accepts S-level missions. This is purely a rumor. The first mission we accepted was B-level. However, the B-level mission you accepted was investigating a mission that almost toppled the government. Both of you are important people. White Eagle can't afford to be tormented by you. Seeing that the other party was about to cry, Wang Lan didn't intend to tease them anymore. Forget it. We're just here to have fun. The Chaos Squad is on vacation for the next month. Is that so? Thank you very much for your cooperation. If you need anything, please give me a call. The other party quickly wrote down a string of numbers and handed it to Wang Lan. Of course, if you have any missions, please give me a call too. No problem. So can my friend and I go on a trip? Of course, I hope you have a good time. Do you need a tour guide? The kind that doesn't cost money. Looking at the other party's eyes, Wang Lan didn't have the heart to refuse. Instead of having them follow him in secret, it was better to follow them in person. Thinking about it from another perspective, if an S-level team from the International Security Committee came to his country, he wouldn't be able to sleep at night. But I hope to have a beautiful tour guide. This will make us happy when we go on a trip. That night, a beautiful white woman came to the hotel Wang Lan and Jiang Xinyu were staying. She had long wavy blonde hair, wore a sexy red dress, and stepped on high heels like a Victoria's Secret model to Wang Lan's room. "Hello, I'm your tour guide, Carrie. You can tell me where you want to go. I'll arrange everything for you." Is he from the Northeast who taught you Huaxiao language? Wang Lan almost collapsed when he heard the familiar accent. No, he said he's from Hainan, which is the south of Jade State. Understood. Although Carly's accent was a little funny, her ability to get things done was unquestionable. Wang Lan showed Carly the walkthrough she had downloaded. Everything was arranged properly from start to finish, and the tour route was very smooth. Every time it was their turn, just when they were about to eat, there was an empty seat. There was no need to queue or wait. He originally thought that it would take him 5 days to complete the walkthrough, but in the end, it only took him 3 days. It seemed that it would be no problem to tour the entire White Eagle in a month. Chapter 6:26. On the classical and romantic street, Jiang Xinyu leaned against a stone pillar that was filled with historical charm and smiled sweetly. Wang Lan held up his camera and kept pressing the shutter to capture Jiang Xinyu's beautiful moments. Carrie looked at the 2 people in front of her with a smile on her face. There was a hint of envy in her eyes. After spending the past few days with Wang Lan, The wariness in Carrie's heart had gradually relaxed. The two of them did not do anything out of the ordinary. They were purely here for a vacation. Of course, this was good news for White Eagle. They were not worried that Wang Lan and the rest would cause trouble. However, wherever the raging team appeared, something big would usually happen. "Is it nice?" Jiang Xinyu asked as she came to Wang Lan's side and held up her camera. "It's so beautiful." Wang Lan intimately scratched Jiang Xinyu's cute nose. This scene made Carrie feel a little suffocated. She was full of dog food again. Their relationship was so sweet that Carrie could not wait for them to register their marriage in Las Vegas immediately. Suddenly, Wang Lan's movements paused. Jiang Xinyu's expression changed abruptly. The two of them looked in the same direction at the same time. Carrie's heart skipped a beat. However, she still did not understand what was going on between Wang Lan and Jiang Xinyu. However, in the next second, a loud sound came from not far away. Boom! The explosion was like thunder exploding in their ears. Wang Lan and Jiang Xinyu's figures flashed as they rushed out of the corner of the classical building complex. Not far away, at the entrance of a bank, a group of panic-stricken citizens of the White Eagle Nation were running out of the bank. "That's..." Wang Lan turned around and looked at Carrie behind him. "Flowerware Bank. Damn it." With that, Carrie quickly pressed her earpiece. Headquarters. There was an explosion at the Flowerware Bank on Andrew Street in Laizhou. It's speculated that there's a robbery going on. We've received a report. The police will be here soon. Jiang Xinyu glanced at Wang Lan. "Aren't we going to do anything?" Wang Lan hesitated for a moment before shaking his head. "The White Eagle Congress will take care of it. Normal bank robberies are not under our jurisdiction." However, Wang Lan frowned slightly. He felt that this robbery was a little different. In normal robberies, the robber would control the hostage as a bargaining chip. However, it didn't make sense for the hostages to run out of the bank. Moreover, none of the hostages who ran out were carrying boxes or anything, and there were no bandits among them. In less than 5 minutes, sirens blared as they approached rapidly. This was something that the police superintendents in the country should learn from. The efficiency of many things in White Eagle was very slow, but the speed of dispatch of police officers was the fastest in the world. More than a dozen police cars surrounded the bank, and then dozens of armed police officers got out. Go, go, go. Soon, a group of police officers rushed into the bank and gunshots were heard. However, the gunfire lasted for less than 5 seconds before it suddenly stopped. Wang Lan frowned deeply. Something's not right. These robbers are not normal people. Sure enough, Wang Lan's guess was confirmed. Soon, a police officer covered in blood ran out of the bank. As he ran, he shouted into the walkie-talkie, "We need backup. We need backup from the Takashi Hoshi. They are all Takashi Hoshi." Wang Lan turned to look at Carrie. "Aren't you going to help?" "It's not my duty," Carrie replied calmly, her expression as if it was only natural. Wang Lan could not understand this. "This city is protected by heroes. I think the Black Eagle will appear soon." As soon as Carrie finished speaking, a surge of astral power swept across the area, and a figure appeared in the sky. At that moment, the bank's door suddenly opened. 6 people dressed in black leather walked out of the door, each of them carrying a leather suitcase. The leader was a woman with blonde hair and a mask. She was dressed in leather and looked sexy and enchanting. The Black Eagle landed on the ground. This was a black Takashi Hoshi. He spoke in his tongue-in-cheek. "Hey, please put down the things you stole and follow me to the police station to confess your crimes." A city's hero was at least a titled battle pet warrior. This was the way White Eagle maintained public order. Every city had a hero. The hero's salary was paid by the city's finances. At the same time, the hero was the idol of the entire city. In White Eagle, the hero's social status and popularity were the highest in the world. Even international superstars had to stand aside in front of the hero. If the children in the city could have a photo with the hero, it would be a very honorable thing. The few men in black turned a deaf ear to Black Eagle's words and continued to carry the box away slowly. "Hey, it seems like you didn't hear what I said. We can only use force then." With that, astral power danced around the Black Eagle. At that moment, the blonde woman's figure disappeared mysteriously and reappeared next to the Black Eagle. The Black Eagle was startled. He disappeared in a flash. However, the woman followed him like a ghost. She reappeared the moment the Black Eagle appeared. You. The Black Eagle only had time to utter this word before the woman sent him flying with a punch. This scene caused Carrie's brain to crash on the spot. The Black Eagle was a battle pet warrior at the peak of the Star Sea state. Even if he wasn't a title battle pet warrior, his strength was about the same. But he was defeated so easily? Then, just how strong was this woman? Mr. Fire Phoenix, please. Before Carrie could finish her words, Wang Lan's figure had already taken a step forward and disappeared from sight. The blonde woman had just finished off the Black Eagle when a powerful energy rushed toward her. Without hesitation, the blonde woman threw a punch. His fist collided with Wang Lan's fist, and the scene instantly froze. Violent shock waves swept out in all directions. All the windows and doors within a radius of 500 meters were shattered. Half of the nearest bank collapsed under the terrifying shock wave. The scene froze. Wang Lan had exchanged a punch with the other party. The terrifying energy distorted the space. Wang Lan stared at the blonde woman's eyes, hoping to see something. One punch was enough to see the extent of her strength. This blonde woman's strength could be ranked in the top 20 in the world. Although Wang Lan didn't use his full strength in this punch, the woman might not have used her full strength either. And someone with such strength actually came to White Eagle to rob a bank? What a joke. If you had such strength, you could ask the White Eagle government for it. When Wang Lan moved, Jiang Xinyu moved as well. Her figure disappeared like a ghost and appeared in front of a man in black. The man in black wasn't very strong. He was only at the galaxy state. Boom! The man in black was sent flying by Jiang Xinyu's punch. The suitcase in his hand also exploded. Gold fell out of the suitcase, dazzling under the sunlight. You really are robbing gold. Miss, with your strength, when did you lower yourself like this? Boom! The blonde woman forced Wang Lan away. Her body was enveloped in white light, and a powerful aura rose instantly. Wang Lan's face suddenly became very serious. The phoenix tail flower rune appeared between his eyebrows, and a gorgeous flame enveloped Wang Lan. The white light around the woman in front of him dissipated, revealing a new form. A pair of snow-white wings extended from her back, like moonlight and white snow. Angel! Wang Lan was slightly stunned. What was going on? Was an angel so poor that she had to rob a bank? The other party's figure flashed, and she instantly attacked Jiang Xinyu. However, Wang Lan was right beside Jiang Xinyu. How could he let her have her way? In an instant, the two figures disappeared at the same time. Boom, boom! Violent airwaves suddenly exploded. Even Carrie, who was at the galaxy state, could only feel the terrifying aftershocks of the battle. She couldn't even see the shadows of the two people. Violent explosions continued to explode in the air. Suddenly, a stream of light appeared in the sky. The angel was knocked down from the sky by Wang Lan's punch, and she crashed into the street with a boom. In an instant, the surrounding ground undulated like water. The clean road was instantly shattered, and under a large crater, the surrounding buildings within a few hundred meters collapsed. Wang Lan pursued closely, and another punch came down. A beam of holy light exploded in front of Wang Lan. The punch hit the holy light, and the holy light instantly shattered. A powerful shockwave came, and Wang Lan's figure was sent flying. The angel's figure turned into a stream of light and shot into the sky. Wang Lan had just stabilized himself and was about to give chase when a ripple appeared in the sky. The angel's figure disappeared in the ripple. Wang Lan paused, and there was only a large pile of rubble left under his feet. The group of men in black that Jiang Xinyu had defeated suddenly had their heads explode. Wang Lan didn't need to say anything. Even Carrie knew that this was the bird of paradise. Woo, woo, woo. Police sirens sounded at the end of the battle, and dozens of police cars appeared in all directions. Hundreds of police officers surrounded every intersection. Then, 3 plainclothes CAI agents strode to the scene. Oh my God! Mr. Wang Lan, what happened? One of the agents asked Wang Lan with a grim expression. As you can see, a group of robbers robbed a bank, and then your hero, Black Hawk, arrived. Unfortunately, Black Hawk was killed by the robbers. As a person with a sense of justice, I couldn't just stand by and watch. Then, I fought with the robbers, but I didn't expect them to be so strong. We fought to a draw, and they escaped in the end. *T. Robbers with such destructive power robbed a bank. What did they rob? Wang Lan pointed at the gold scattered around. This. I'd rather let them take this gold. Look at the damage caused by your battle. It's 100 times more than this gold, at least 100 times more. You mean I shouldn't have intervened? I should have pretended that I didn't see it? Wang Lan's expression suddenly turned cold. In an instant, the agent opposite him shuddered. He felt a terrifying, murderous aura, and he instantly recovered from his rage and calmed down. Sorry, I'm very sorry. My colleague didn't mean to blame you. However, I want to know the identity of the person whose strength is on par with yours. I want to know too. Wang Lan spread his hands. Mr. Wang Lan, I don't think we need to talk in riddles anymore, okay? Did you come to White Hawk because you received some information? Otherwise, how could it be so coincidental that you appeared here just as they were robbing a bank? All right, I think their goal is definitely not these gold bars. Gold bars are not worth a superhero's strength to rob. I hope you can abide by our contract with the International Security Committee and tell us what you know. Sorry, I really don't know. I'm just here for a vacation. Mr. Wang Lan, I'll ask the International Security Committee. Then, can you and Miss Jiang Xinyu cooperate with us and record a statement? Chapter 6:27. If it didn't happen to him, even Wang Lan wouldn't believe it. After recording their statements, Wang Lan and Jiang Xinyu were arranged to stay in a special hotel. Wang Lan sat on the sofa and scratched his chin. Are you still thinking about what happened this afternoon? It's too unbelievable. Just for a few gold bars? And what's with this angel? From the group of black-clothed people exploding their heads, I can guess that it's the birds of paradise. But isn't the birds of paradise too strange? And does the birds of paradise have such an expert? This doesn't make sense. I'm not saying that the birds of paradise can't hide their strength. But if there is such an expert, they could have used it the first few times they opened the space-time gem. As long as they could stop me, they would have succeeded. This whole thing is strange, but since it's the birds of paradise's operation, then it's right to destroy their plan. It's already depressing to meet an expert that can turn into a birdman, but what's even more depressing is that the birdman actually relied on his strength to steal a few gold bars. It's already depressing that we couldn't stop the birdman even after destroying a street. What's even more depressing is that we're suspected of knowing about this already. We came to White Eagle to carry out a mission. Xinyu, we just want to take a vacation and have some alone time. Is it that hard? If you say that this has nothing to do with us, then let alone them. Even I don't believe it. Jiang Xinyu jokingly laughed. She walked behind Wang Lan and gently rubbed his shoulders. Forget it, forget it. We're just here to travel. They could believe it or not. If they want, then they can just send us out of the country. White Eagle has already played half a round anyway. On the other side, at CAI headquarters, the person in charge had just contacted the International Security Committee and confirmed that Wang Lan and Jiang Xinyu were just here to travel. Leo personally assured him that they definitely didn't receive a mission. As for the mysterious expert that White Eagle encountered, the International Security Committee had never received any information. This was an unexpected incident, but also a coincidence. Although the result of this coincidence was a bit bad. According to the official statement of the White Eagle Nation, it would have been better for them to snatch the gold. The losses caused by the two of them fighting were much higher than the gold. It's just a coincidence. Mr. Wang Lan is indeed here for sightseeing. Should we remove the surveillance on them? What for? Inform him that he can leave tomorrow. It's best if he leaves White Eagle Nation. By the way, has the analysis of the angel's blood sample been completed? What is it made of? It's been analyzed. It's exactly the same as our human blood. The golden color is due to the color of the red blood cells. In other words, angels are humans? Yes, humans. There is no information on the other party in the DNA database. According to the procedure, a copy should be sent to the International Security Committee. Yes, send it over. Let's hope that Angel leaves the White Eagle Nation. I don't understand. Why pick the White Eagle Nation? There are so many countries in the world. Perhaps it's because we have the most gold reserves. That night, White Eagle's analysis of the Angel's blood sample was sent to the International Security Committee. The International Security Committee also filed it as a routine. After all, such a powerful creature could cause a huge disaster wherever it went if it had any ill intentions towards humans. There's a result of the blood sample. What? Leo was just filing it as a routine. He didn't even think about the blood sample. After all, an angel was a new species. The last time the fallen angel appeared, there was no blood sample left behind. But when Leo sent the data to the central computer, there was a notification that there was a blood sample. This meant that the information of the angel had already been recorded in the system database. Leo clicked on the matching results with an incredulous expression. His expression changed drastically after he took a look at it. How is this possible? Looking at Yulia's identity on the screen, Leo couldn't believe it. Yulia, the new saintess of the Holy Kingdom, was actually from the Birds of Paradise. It's fine if you join the Birds of Paradise, but you actually went to the White Eagle Nation to steal gold? Can't you be more mature? Could it be that the Holy Kingdom was facing a financial crisis? And to the point where they had to resort to robbery? After a while, Leo came back to his senses and strode over to the confidential phone. Connect me to the Holy Kingdom. Connecting to the Holy Kingdom. Hello, I'm the Bishop of the Holy Kingdom, Leo. I want to ask you, where is Saintess Yulia? Ever since the battle a year ago, Saintess Yulia has been in seclusion most of the time. She's currently in seclusion as well. Do you need me to contact her? All right, please tell her that there's a tricky mission that requires her and the Raging Desolate Squad. Please report to the headquarters as soon as possible. Mr. Leo, she's the Saintess of the Holy Kingdom. The Bishop of the Holy Kingdom showed a trace of displeasure. Clearly, the status of a Saintess was above the status of a level 6 agent of the International Security Committee. Yulia could completely ignore the orders of the International Security Committee. You mean, rejected on behalf of Yulia? Leo asked without batting an eyelid. This made the Bishop of the Holy Kingdom's face change drastically. Rejecting an assignment from the International Security Committee would result in expulsion. Although it wasn't a big deal for Yulia to be expelled, this wasn't something he could decide for her. All right, I'll pass this on. Okay, Yulia only has an hour to consider. If she doesn't show up at the headquarters by 10 tomorrow morning, it'll be considered a rejection. After hanging up, Leo's brows furrowed even tighter. At this moment, Leo didn't look like his usual jovial self. To be able to become a member of the International Security Committee, no one was an idiot. He took out his phone and called Wang Lan. Hello, Fire Phoenix. Did I disturb your sweet dreams? Leo's voice sounded. Wang Lan squinted his eyes and looked at the time beside the bed. What do you think? A murderous voice sounded from the other side of the phone. All right, I know. You should have finished your exercise by now. But I think you should get up and go back to the headquarters immediately. What's wrong? Did something big happen? It's not just big, it's a disaster. The blood ratio of the angel you fought today actually came out. Yulia. Wang Lan indifferently spat out this name. Leo was silent on the other side of the phone. Wang Lan moved the phone a certain distance away. Not long after, a fragrant voice sounded from the other side. After waiting for a while, Wang Lan put the phone to his ear. Wang Lan, you already knew, right? You recognized her during the battle, didn't you? You're accusing me wrongly. I didn't recognize her. After you told me about the matching results, I more or less guessed it. That angel's fighting style is very similar to the Takashi Hoshi technique of the Nation of God. Even if she used a brand new Takashi Hoshi technique, the style wouldn't change. Especially at the end, when heaven used holy protection. There aren't many people in the world with such strength. To be able to fight me to a draw and use the Takashi Hoshi technique of the Nation of God, Yulia is the only one. Of course, I don't believe Yulia would do such a thing. But if you told me about the matching data in the database, then it can only be Yulia. I've already informed Yulia to report to the headquarters at 10 tomorrow morning. If she doesn't arrive by then, I'll have to send you and a few other S-rank teams to capture her. All right. Wang Lan sighed. If there's nothing else, you can hang up now. Call me again tomorrow when Yulia arrives. Aren't you going to get up immediately? Leo, I have spatial movement. Spatial movement. Beep, beep, beep. Troublesome mission. In the nation of God, in the Saintess Palace, Yulia was sitting cross-legged. She slowly opened her eyes. You need me and Wang Lan to work together? I didn't hear anything big happened. Did another space-time gem appear? The International Security Council didn't say. Do you want me to refuse? If so, I'll go and reply to them now. No, I'll go. Yulia, you're now the Saintess of the Nation of God. You're the second leader of the Nation of God. I know, but do you think a mission that uses me will be easy? If it uses me, then it must have a direct impact on human civilization. Book the plane tickets now. Wang Lan slept all the way until dawn, but her phone didn't ring. He gently rubbed Jiang's sinew in his arms, and Jiang's sinew groaned in a daze. Wang Lan almost turned into a wolf and howled at the sky. Wake up! We have to go back to the headquarters immediately. Oh! The two got up and quickly washed up. Wang Lan hugged Jiang's sinew, and the two disappeared with a whoosh. The plane couldn't land directly at the International Security Council headquarters. They had to take a car. But as a sixth-level agent of the International Security Council, Yulia still had a lot of influence. Not only were there a lot of people, but there were also a lot of them. There were a total of 6 S-rank independent teams. Yulia slowly took off her sunglasses and looked at the agents surrounding her. Her face was a little gloomy. I need an explanation. Sorry, we're just following orders. Suddenly, an aura gushed out, and Yulia was bathed in holy light. The terrifying aura swept out and stirred the clouds in the sky. The space was slightly distorted, and the ground was trembling. A war was about to break out. Yulia, I hope you don't do that. This is Wilson. Even if you break through our encirclement, you can't escape. I said, I need an explanation. Yulia's voice was still cold. Yulia could accept anything, but betrayal was the only thing she could not accept. Screech! There was a sudden breaking sound, and a car stopped outside the crowd with a beautiful drift. The car door opened, and Wang Lan and Jiang Xinyu came out. Seeing Wang Lan, Yulia frowned again. The aura around her slowly dissipated, and she finally calmly looked at Wang Lan. You're here to catch me too? Do you believe me? Wang Lan asked calmly. Even you want to catch me? It seems like I really did something, but even if you want me to die, you have to let me know the reason. Let's go back to the headquarters first. An agent took out star power suppression handcuffs, but Wang Lan stopped him. No need. I'll be in charge of escorting her. She won't resist. Besides, this won't lock her up. Wang Lan's words were still very convincing. The agent nodded and left. Yulia, get in the car. Chapter 628. When they arrived at the International Security Committee headquarters, Wang Lan followed Yulia all the way to the interrogation room. On the screen, all the members of the International Security Committee appeared. It was a Sunday, and there should only be one person on duty. However, such a huge incident happened, and all the leaders of the International Security Committee were present. Yulia, where were you yesterday afternoon? 2 o'clock in the afternoon, International Time. I was training in the Saintess Palace. Who can prove that? The nuns of the Saintess Palace can prove it, Yulia said calmly. There was no abnormality on her face. Then, take a look at this video. A screen appeared on the screen. It was the video of Wang Lan and the blonde woman fighting. The video was short, and most of the time, it was just a flash. After all, with Wang Lan and the blonde woman's strength, even a high-powered camera wouldn't be able to capture their speed. But with just a glance, Yulia's expression changed. With a whoosh, he bounced up from his seat. The few Star State Takashi Hoshi cultivators who were monitoring Yulia nervously released their astral powers. Seeing that Yulia didn't do anything else, they dispersed their astral powers. Seems like you've seen something? Leo asked faintly while holding his chin. He's using angel form, holy light protection, ward God domain. Yulia said excitedly. Other than holy light protection, what are the other two? The long-lost Takashi Hoshi technique of the divine religion. Yulia's expression was serious. These are the powerful Takashi Hoshi techniques of the divine religion. Anyone who learns one of them can become one of the strongest people in the world. The angel form was lost 3,000 years ago, and the war god domain was also lost for the next 1,000 years. Is this person from the nation of God? Yulia shook her head. I'm not sure. Then, do you know the Takashi Hoshi technique she used? Leo asked. Yulia didn't answer immediately. Her expression kept changing, and her eyes were filled with hesitation. Seeing this, Leo's eyes suddenly became stern. Yulia, please answer my question. Do you know it? I will. Yulia said, as if she had lost all her strength. Didn't you say that these two Takashi Hoshi techniques were long lost? Why would you? Where did you get the Takashi Hoshi technique? What's your relationship with the person in the video? A year ago, during the battle with the Lord of Hell, the former Saintess used the Holy Grail to smash the Lord of Hell's dimension, causing the Holy Grail to be slightly damaged. When I was repairing the Holy Grail, I accidentally discovered the Takashi Hoshi technique in the Holy Grail. So, you obtained the Takashi Hoshi technique from the Holy Grail? Yes. What about her? I don't know her, and I don't know where she came from. If I wasn't sure that I didn't do it, and stayed in the Saintess Palace all day yesterday, I would have suspected that she was me. But we got a blood sample from her at the scene, and after DNA matching, we found that her DNA matches yours perfectly. This result made Yulia's eyes widen in shock. What did DNA match mean? It meant that they were the same person. Even the DNA of a clone wouldn't match perfectly. I understand, but I will appeal again. This isn't me. I didn't do such a thing, and it's impossible for me to do such a thing. We will investigate the truth, but before the truth is out, you must be under our surveillance 24 hours a day. Are you willing to accept? I understand. I'm willing to accept. After the meeting, Wang Lan acted as Yulia's monitor. In the International Security Committee, only Wang Lan could keep an eye on Yulia. The angelic realm is to condense the holy light, and after condensing it rapidly, it will undergo a qualitative change. The qualitative change of the holy light star power will change the star power attribute of the entire star palace. After activating the star power valve between the ribs on the back will open, and the gushing star power will form a pair of white wings on the back. The wings are the source of the power of the angelic realm, and can be said to be a variant of the star palace. The strength of the combat power can be judged by the size of the wings on the back. Now that I'm fully displaying the angelic realm, the wingspan is only 3 meters. Then, will the angelic realm make one a real angel? Yes, Yulia said with certainty. The second form of the angelic realm is the angelic transformation, completely changing the body and fixing it in the form of an angel. The legendary angels of the Garden of Eden were actually all cultivated by humans. What's with the war god form? The war god form is another way of using Takashi Hoshi's skill, and it's another change in the form of the angelic realm. After completing the transformation, the speed, strength, and defense will all reach an extremely high level. She took a full power punch from you and only spat out a mouthful of blood and recovered in an extremely short time. It's clear that she's very strong. If you were to fight her, how would you win? 50-50. Wang Lan smiled. So, in just a short year, your combat power has already reached the Star Soul realm? That's fast. No matter how fast I am, I'm not as fast as you. Yulia smiled bitterly. Time passed unknowingly, and the days in the International Security Committee were a little comfortable, but also a little boring. On a sunny afternoon, Yulia was doing yoga on the grass. It had been 4 days since Yulia returned to the International Security Committee. Beep, beep, beep. Suddenly, Wang Lan's cell phone rang, and he picked it up. Hello? What? Wang Lan immediately sat up. Okay, Yulia and I will be there soon. Yulia stopped what she was doing. Wang Lan, do you want us to gather? That angel attacked again. This was definitely bad news for the target, but it was good news for the International Security Committee, especially for Yulia. Wang Lan and Yulia changed their clothes and appeared in the war room. Before that, let me announce that the surveillance on Yulia is over, and Yulia is indeed not that angel. Yulia, we apologize for our previous distrust of you. It's fine. After all, if it were me, I would have doubted myself too. Where did the angel attack this time? The tycoon of White Eagle, Poke. The angel broke into Poke's house, and after receiving Poke's call for help, White Eagle sent 3 elites from the Heroes Club to help, but all 3 heroes were killed, and Poke and his house were wiped out by the angel. Now, I need you to go to White Eagle and investigate this matter. But I was just expelled from White Eagle, right? Wang Lan said embarrassedly. There's no such thing. This is definitely a misunderstanding, Leo hurriedly said. Wang Lan, Yulia, and Jiang Xinyu immediately took a plane to White Eagle, and the person who greeted them at the airport was still the same CAI agent who had asked Wang Lan to leave last time. Seeing the agent's blooming chrysanthemum smile, Wang Lan finally understood what hypocrisy meant. Welcome to the free country. I represent. Forget about representing. Let's get down to business. Suddenly, a figure appeared out of nowhere and bowed to Wang Lan before the CAI agent could. Your Majesty Wang Lan, please come with us to the Heroes Club. The Heroes Club will take over the Angel's matter. The white man's expression was very sincere to Wang Lan and the other two. The Heroes Club had a supreme position in White Eagle, and every Takashi Hoshi in White Eagle was proud to join the Heroes Club. Because of this supreme position, the Heroes Club's attitude toward the other military departments in White Eagle was obvious. To the Heroes Club, regardless of whether your department had the support of the Congress, you had to stand still before the Heroes meeting. What right did the Heroes Club have to be so arrogant? The 7-star Soul Realm superheroes in White Eagle were all honorary members of the Heroes Club, and 80% of the Starsea Realm experts were members. Wasn't that enough? Then, every president had to be recognized by the Heroes Club. If the Heroes Club didn't approve, the election could be canceled. However, the Heroes Club wouldn't show any arrogance in front of Wang Lan. Arrogance was reserved for the weak, and they were sufficiently humble to the strong. In this aspect, the Heroes Club was even better than the other military departments. At least the CAI would show some attitude in front of Wang Lan that they were in charge of their territory, but the Heroes Club acted as if they were welcoming their loved ones home. After being sent to the Heroes Club headquarters in New York City, Wang Lan and the other two were brought to the meeting room on the top floor. There were 7 people in the meeting room, but Wang Lan only recognized the bald man, the Star Soul Realm expert in White Eagle, the superhero spirit controller. Welcome, my dear Lan. It's been a year since we last met, right? You've almost disappeared in the past year. What have you been busy with? Working at the International Security Committee. Don't tell me you're the fire phoenix that rose to fame in the past year. I knew it. It's impossible for such an expert to appear out of nowhere. Lan, I've invited you to White Eagle several times, but I couldn't contact you. Your country's defense against me is too unfriendly. Why is it unfriendly? Don't you have any King idea? Aren't I here now? At this point, the 7 people's expressions suddenly became serious. Lan, take a look first. This is the video of the Angel's attack. In the sky, 3 experts with the strength of a tidal battle pet warrior rushed to a villa with a sea view. Suddenly, a stream of light rushed out and killed the 3 experts with one punch. One punch was really one punch. In less than a second, the 3 heroes with the strength of a tidal battle pet warrior were instantly blown up. Then, the angel threw another punch. The entire villa with a sea view turned into ruins and scattered, pouring into the sea. Last time, she robbed a bank. This time, she attacked a rich businessman. Who is this angel? What is her purpose? Wang Lan and Yulia's faces were grave. They couldn't understand why. There must be a connection between the two. Did you find all the information on the bank and the rich businessman? Everything that could be collected, including written records, news records, and so on. Of course. In fact, we're already doing it. At this moment, The phone in the meeting room on the top floor of the Heroes Club rang again. The spirit controller picked up the phone. After listening for a while, his expression changed drastically. Damn it! With a bang, the spirit controller slammed the phone down. That angel attacked again. This time, she attacked Countess Linda. Countess Linda? She's also a rich businessman? Not only is she a rich businessman, but she's also an ancient aristocrat. You know, there aren't many aristocrats in White Eagle. The aristocrats back then were the ones who ruled White Eagle before the Independence Day. This Countess Linda is a descendant of such an aristocrat. She's an internationally renowned entrepreneur, philanthropist, and collector. But she rarely shows herself in public. Most people don't even know of her existence. Her wealth is managed by the charity fund. She can't mobilize much money. I really don't understand. Why did the angel attack her? Chapter 629. If we can't find the connection between them, we won't be able to stop the angel's next move, Wang Lan said with a serious expression. White Eagle has already entered a state of full alert, but with the angel's strength, even if we have 7 superheroes, we won't be able to stop her. An astral soul realm expert's unreasonable destruction is too terrifying. After waiting patiently, the Heroes Club gathered all the information of the 3 into a database. Just the text records alone reached a gigabyte. If they had to filter and sort out all the information to find common points, it would take a lifetime if they relied on manpower. Wang Lan sent Xiao AI into the computer. Xiao AI was now more adept at organizing databases. After waiting patiently for an hour, Xiao AI successfully organized the data. It was much easier to check the wine through Xiao AI's database. Even so, Xiao AI sorted out more than 100 similarities between the 3. Found it. Wang Lan's voice suddenly sounded. He looked up and saw that the sky had turned dark. In the meeting room, Yulia, Jiang Xinyu, and the Soul Master immediately stood up and surrounded Wang Lan. As for the others, they left the meeting room after Countess Linda was attacked. Mystic Moon Mask. What's that? Jiang Xinyu asked curiously. I don't know what it is either, but there's a Mystic Moon Mask in the underground vault of the bank. That rich merchant also has a Mystic Moon Mask. As for Countess Linda, she's a collector, and the Mystic Moon Mask is one of her collections. And all 3 Mystic Moon Masks have been verified as authentic. The Mystic Moon Mask is a mythical item, Yulia said after thinking for a while. Legend has it that 10,000 years ago, the demon god and a human woman gave birth to a girl. Although the girl had the demon god's bloodline, she was kind-hearted. The demon god was furious at his daughter's betrayal and put a curse on her. Every time she did a good deed, an abscess would grow on her body. Every time she did a bad deed, not only would one abscess disappear, but she would also gain endless pleasure. But a few years later, the girl's body was filled with abscesses. She couldn't even stand up and walk. She could only crawl on the ground. But even in the face of such torture, the girl still endured it with optimism. Later on, the gods took pity on the girl and created a black moon mask for her. This mask was immune to all curses. The girl put on the Mystic Moon Mask and became the war god of the divine religion. Is there really a black moon mask in this world? Jiang Xinyu asked curiously. 2,000 years ago, the Lich King was cursed by a witch when he was young. Later on, he obtained the Mystic Moon Mask and survived. He also completed the imperial task of unifying the European continent. How many faces does the Mystic Moon have? Only one. Yulia shook her head and said, those that have been identified as genuine are definitely fake. Legend has it that the real Mystic Moon Mask was taken into the tomb by the Lich King, but the tomb of the Lich King has yet to be found. If you can't find it, then go and find it. The Soul Master lightly knocked on the table and said, since the angel's goal is the Mystic Moon Mask, we can't let him get it no matter what. Finding the tomb of the Lich King became the main mission of the next operation. Through the International Security Committee, the news was spread to every country in the world. Every place that had the Mystic Moon Mask, whether it was a fake or a genuine one, was guarded by a powerful force. Unknowingly, half a month passed. No one knew if the angel had given up or if the angel was shocked by the nervous reaction of the world. But the angel did not make a move again in the past half a month. The entire world was operating in an orderly manner. However, behind this operation, the archaeological world was suddenly boiling like boiling water. Wanglan's group of 3 took a plane and quietly arrived at Babylon. Under the reception of a professional, the 3 of them arrived at the sacred land of Yale. In the sacred land of Yale, there was a sacred church. The church started construction 700 years ago, but it was still incomplete. This sacred church was jokingly called the church that rests with the world. Some people even joked that the construction of the sacred church was the countdown to the end of the world. When the sacred church was announced to be completed, it would also be the moment of the end of the world. Wanglan's group entered the church, and an old priest received Wanglan. In fact, the tomb of the Lich King was discovered 700 years ago. At that time, Babylon was in a state of war. The grave goods were stolen by grave robbers and sold on the black market. The Mystic Moon Mask was one of them. At that time, Father Drackle bought the Mystic Moon Mask. It was a divine artifact made by the gods. Father Drackle intended to give the mask to the Vatican. However, on the way to the Holy Kingdom, the cruise ship hit an iceberg and sank. Father Drackle recorded all of this in his diary. I only learned about it half a year ago when I accidentally read Father Drackle's diary. That ship is the Vienna. Wanglan immediately picked up his phone and dialed a number. Find out where the Vienna sank. The International Security Committee quickly found the location of the cruise ship. It was in the Antarctic Ocean. However, due to the limited scientific conditions at that time, they could not get the exact location. The approximate deviation could be as far as 300 kilometers. However, this was a clue after all. Wanglan's group immediately turned around to look for it. The Antarctic Ocean, within the sinking range of the Vienna. The sun was shining brightly and the sea breeze was warm. White seagulls let out joyful cries and spread their wings, gliding under the blue sky and white clouds. 700 years ago, the Vienna sank after hitting an iceberg here. But now, the climate here was like the climate near the equator. The temperature was about 35 degrees, and the surface water was warm and comfortable. If it were not for the fact that the coordinates indicated this place, it would be hard to believe that there was an iceberg here. This was a deserted area of the sea. Very few fishing boats would come to this place to work. Even if there were, it would be 1 or 2 lonely fishing boats. But suddenly, the number of boats in the Antarctic Ocean increased. It was as if they had appeared out of thin air. Large fishing boats cut through the sea like ferocious beasts. At the edge of the bed, people were constantly throwing detection devices into the sea. In just half a day, tens of thousands of detection robots were thrown into the sea. Beep, beep, beep. Suddenly, a crisp sound came from the data analysis room. Lieutenant Admiral, we found it. Great. Takashi Hoshi Army. Enter the water. The Takashi Hoshi Army appeared on the deck. Every one of them was wearing exoskeleton armor. As they walked, the sound of metal clanking could be heard. If Wanglan had seen this, he would have thought that he was in a sci-fi movie. The soldiers of the Takashi Hoshi Army put on their masks and jumped into the sea. After a year of improvement, the exoskeleton armor technology had matured a lot. In addition to assisting the Takashi Hoshi in combat, it also had an environmental support system. Under the guidance of the navigation system, hundreds of Takashi Hoshi Army soldiers dove 2,000 meters into the sea. Where is it? It's not here. Reporting to headquarters. The Vienna has not been found. Wait, is there something behind you? A cry of surprise came from the earpiece. The Takashi Hoshi Army soldiers turned around and saw a cone-shaped submarine rushing toward them like a prehistoric beast. A cone-shaped submarine has been detected. Is it an ally? No, it's just us. There are no other allies. Oh no, they've opened fire. It's an enemy. Fight! Logically speaking, the Takashi Hoshi Army soldiers would have no choice but to kneel in the face of such a high-tech submarine. However, the Takashi Hoshi Army soldiers of White Eagle were also equipped with high-tech weapons. Who's afraid of who? The enemy submarine fired dozens of underwater missiles. The missiles were locked onto by the exoskeleton armor as soon as they were launched. The missiles were not very fast underwater, so the Takashi Hoshi army soldiers had enough time to react. In an instant, a group of Star Warriors raised their palms, and beams of laser cannons intercepted the missiles. Go! The Takashi Hoshi army soldiers were all proficient in water-type Takashi Hoshi army soldiers. After dealing with the missiles, they fired dozens of Takashi Hoshi army soldiers. Dense net water knife. Super iron egg water cannon. Although this huge submarine was a high-tech product, it was still a product of Earth. Faced with the Takashi Hoshi army's agile attacks, the submarine only had one chance to attack. Almost instantly, dozens of attacks landed on the submarine mercilessly. In the deep sea, as long as there was a wound, the terrifying water pressure would mercilessly tear the submarine apart. As the submarine was rapidly deforming and flattening, several figures rushed out of the submarine. The woman at the front was shrouded in a hazy, golden light. Her rapidly flashing figure was like a shining dot in the deep sea. Oh no, there's an expert. Back up, we request. A one-sided massacre had begun. Wang Lan and Jiang Xinyu arrived in the sky above the target area. The three of them jumped out of the plane and fell rapidly like meteorites. The three of them were proficient in water-type attacks, so their combat power was not reduced by much in the sea. Boom, boom, boom. The three of them rushed into the sea and created a huge splash. As soon as they entered the sea, the three of them felt the Takashi Hoshi army fighting in the deep sea. Someone arrived earlier than us? Wang Lan asked in surprise. After learning the whereabouts of the Mask of the Black Moon, they set off without stopping. This way, someone could be one step ahead of them. No matter who it is, we must get the Mask of the Black Moon. As soon as Wang Lan finished speaking, the water demon Takashi Hoshi army activated its skill and instantly dived into the deep sea like a ghost. As soon as they arrived at the battlefield, they saw the angel frantically chasing after the Takashi Hoshi army in exoskeleton armor. Even with the help of the exoskeleton armor, the average strength of these Takashi Hoshi army was only at the galaxy level. In front of the angel, they were weak babies. Wang Lan unsheathed his Zanpakuto and disappeared in an instant. The angel slashed a Takashi Hoshi army in half along with the exoskeleton armor. She turned around and set up a holy light behind her. Wang Lan's Zanpakuto slashed the holy light. When the angel saw Wang Lan, her expression changed. White light spewed out of her body, and she instantly entered the angel form. But under the water, Wang Lan could not activate the phoenix form. Just as Wang Lan was about to use the Sword of Light, a figure came to Wang Lan's side and punched the angel. Wang Lan, leave her to me. You go find the Mask of the Black Moon. Chapter 630. Wang Lan dove into the depths of the ocean. It wasn't easy to find a 700-year-old shipwreck within 300 kilometers. Wang Lan held Jiang Xinyu's hand and flashed through the water like a ghost. The water demon's ability was indeed a bug in the ocean. Every time she flashed, she could cover a distance of 1 kilometer. Every time she flashed, her psychic power could cover a range of 3 kilometers. It wouldn't take her long to scan a 300-kilometer radius. After all, Vienna wasn't a small object. The battle behind them was getting farther and farther away. Wang Lan kept flashing through the water with Jiang Xinyu. Found it. Wang Lan, whose eyes were slightly closed, suddenly opened her eyes. She looked over and saw a luxurious cruise ship lying peacefully at the bottom of the sea not far away. Wang Lan's figure flashed as she made to dash for Vienna. All of a sudden, Wang Lan felt a sense of danger. Wang Lan hurriedly hugged Jiang Xinyu, and a holy light shield appeared around her. With a loud boom, Wang Lan was sent flying backward by the powerful impact. A figure flew past Wang Lan and dashed toward the shipwreck. Angel! Wang Lan gnashed his teeth. All of a sudden, Wang Lan waved her hand. Astral power surged out, and a red magic circle appeared around the sunken Viano. Lava surged. Boom! Lava gushed out of the magic circle and swallowed Vienna in an instant. The angel, who was rushing toward Vienna, stopped dead in her tracks. Seeing Wang Lan destroy Vienna, her eyes were filled with rage. Boom! A wave of air swept toward the shipwreck. Yulia rode the wind and waves as she approached. Her terrifying aura stirred up the water and caused it to twist violently. Facing Wang Lan alone, Angel still had the strength to fight, but if she had to face Wang Lan and Yulia together, she definitely wouldn't be able to win. Oof. The angel snorted coldly. His body distorted and disappeared. Yulia came to Wang Lan's side. Her face paled when she saw the lava erupting before her eyes. You destroyed Vienna? If we can't let the angel get it, we might as well destroy it, Wang Lan said with a smile. But the Mask of the Mystic Moon is a divine artifact. Even though it's not a divine battle artifact, but it can't be destroyed so easily, right? Actually, this is just Takashi Hoshi's mimicry, Wang Lan said jokingly. In a flash, he appeared in front of the gushing magma and raised his hand. The magma slowly parted, revealing the undamaged Vienna. Yulia heaved a sigh of relief. That scared me to death. This is a divine weapon of the divine religion. If it's destroyed, we'll be heartbroken for a long time. The three of them entered Vienna. The ship was huge and had 3 floors. After searching for 3 hours, Wang Lan finally found the Mask of the Mystic Moon in a metal box. The Mask of the Mystic Moon looked like it was carved out of white jade. There was only half of the mask, and it was shaped like a butterfly with its wings open. It was cold to the touch, and there was an indescribable feeling. Is this the Mask of the Mystic Moon? Yulia looked at it and nodded. It contains God's power. This is something a fake Mask of the Mystic Moon doesn't have. The Mask of the Mystic Moon that has been sealed for 2,000 years has finally appeared. The three of them returned to the surface of the sea. The surviving Takashi Hoshi army from White Eagle rushed out of the sea and boarded the ships. Wang Lan rushed over as soon as she got the clue, but the White Eagle state beat her to it. There was only one explanation. The White Eagle state had already obtained accurate information before and had asked him to go to Babylon to find the diary to delay time. This is really White Eagle's way of doing things. Ignoring White Eagle's fleet, the three of them soared into the sky and flew back to the headquarters of the International Security Committee. This is the Mask of the Mystic Moon? What is it made of? It looks like jade, but it feels like ice. Isn't it cold to wear it on your face? Leo asked curiously as he touched the Mask of the Mystic Moon. No one knows what the Mask of the Mystic Moon is made of. Just like the Holy Grail and the Bible of Beginnings, even the most sophisticated instruments can't analyze the structure of their materials. Yulia looked at the Mask of the Mystic Moon on the table with a hint of desire in her eyes. What do we do next? The angel is causing trouble all over the world just to find the Mask of the Mystic Moon. Now that the Mask of the Mystic Moon is with the International Security Committee, what do you think she will do? Come and snatch it? That's good news. Leo smiled. Put the Mask of the Mystic Moon in the underground vault. All the S-rank independent teams will suspend their missions and stay at the headquarters. As long as the angel comes, we will take her down. I don't think the angel is that stupid, right? Whether she is stupid or not depends on how important the Mask of the Mystic Moon is to her. Wang Lan and the other agents of the International Security Committee stayed at the base, waiting for the angel to come. However, after 5 or 6 days, not only did the angel not come, but she also disappeared without a trace. However, Wang Lan and the others were not in a hurry. The angel was wearing down their patience. When the International Security Committee relaxed, it would be time for the angel to be sold again. On the afternoon of the 6th day, Wang Lan was playing Fight the Landlord with Yulia and the others in the room when his phone suddenly rang. Wang Lan casually flipped it open and took a look. She frowned slightly. The source of the message was an unknown number, but the content of the message was the word "Save me." Who is it? Wang Lan quickly searched through his mind for someone who knew his number and could send the word "Save me," but it didn't seem to be him. Ding dong. At this time, Jiang Sinyu's phone suddenly rang. Jiang Xinyu picked up the phone and looked. Save me? Who is it? You received it too? Wang Lan's expression became serious. To know both his and Jiang Xinyu's numbers at the same time, this person must be very important. Wang Lan quickly called back, but it was a busy signal. Jiang Xinyu also called back, but the number was out of service. The strangeness of this phone call made Wang Lan feel slightly uneasy. Wang Lan picked up the phone and dialed his aunt's number. His aunt's number was successfully connected. Wang Lan asked and found that his aunt was safe. If it was not his aunt, then who could it be? Just as he hung up the phone, Jiang Xinyu's phone rang. It's Xiangwen, Jiang Xinyu said as she picked up the phone. Hello, Xiangwen. Xinyu, are you and Wang Lan okay? We're fine. What's wrong? I was shopping with my girlfriend when I suddenly received a message. The message only had the words, save me. After that, I called Cece. She also received the message and went to check the source of the message. I was worried, so I called to confirm that you guys are fine. All four of us received the message. Wang Lan frowned. If it was only one person, the range of the message would be very large. However, Wang Lan and the other three received the message at the same time, so the range was very small. Rather than sending it to Wang Lan and the other three, it was more like sending it to the Raging Desolate Squad. Ever since the Raging Desolate Squad was formed, Wang Lan and the other three's numbers had changed. Therefore, there were not many people who had all four's numbers. And someone who could think of the four in a time of crisis must have an extraordinary relationship with them. However, apart from confirming his aunt's safety, Wang Lan also confirmed Yu Ruoyun's safety. Yu Ruoyun was also fine. Who could it be? Soon, Wang Lan's phone rang again. It was a call from CSCC. Wang Lan, I can only trace that the message was sent from Yunhai Province. As for the specific location, I can't trace it. This phone number is an international number. After the message was sent, we lost contact immediately. Got it. Yunhai Province. It just so happens that I have the number of the director of Yunhai Province's Heavenly Sword Bureau. After Wang Lan hung up, he immediately dialed the number of the director of Yunhai Province's Heavenly Sword Bureau. The phone rang for a long time before it was picked up. On the other end of the line, there was a loud siren and a lot of noise. Obviously, something had happened. Chief Che, what's going on? Why is it so noisy over there? Wang Lan, you're too well informed. It hasn't even been 10 minutes since something happened over here, and you already know? Know what? No, I'm calling you to ask you to check a number. What happened over there? Just 10 minutes ago, two Takashi Hoshi experts were fighting, causing an explosion that covered more than 2 kilometers. Fortunately, the explosion happened in the suburbs, but the aftermath of the explosion and the flying rocks caused quite a bit of chaos in the city. I just arrived at the scene of the incident. Oh my God, a mountain was blown up. The remnant astral power fluctuations can even suppress the astral power of our brothers at the galaxy realm. The explosion covered an area of 2 kilometers. Wang Lan's face suddenly became serious. This is the level of destruction caused by the collision of astral soul realm Takashi Hoshi. Are you sure it wasn't one of the 5 emperors? I'm sure it wasn't. By the way, our satellite broke through and took a picture. Do you want me to send it to you? Send it to me. Wang Lan wouldn't care about an astral soul realm battle in other places, but Wang Lan couldn't ignore it in the Jade State. If it was one of the 5 emperors, Wang Lan would care about it. If it wasn't one of the 5 emperors, then the situation would be even more serious. The picture was quickly sent to him, but the satellite image wasn't clear. Maybe the target was moving at high speed. But even if it was just a blurry picture, Wang Lan recognized the person at a glance. An angel. An angel? Jiang Xinyu quickly came over and looked at the phone. An angel? Yulia put down the cards in her hand and looked confused. An angel went to the Jade State? No. Xinyu, we need to go back immediately. Okay. Before returning, Wang Lan needed to report to the International Security Committee. When Hua Jianfeng and the others learned that the angel had just appeared in the Jade State, they were also surprised. Wasn't the angel looking for the Black Moon mask all over the world? Now that the Black Moon mask was here, why did she go to the Jade State? That, Wang Lan, if you go back to the Jade State, What if you were attacked by the angel here? There is only one super expert in the headquarters, Yulia. Jade State is guarded by the 5 emperors, so it shouldn't be a problem, right? This might be a diversion. There are 7 superheroes in the White Eagle State, but they can't do anything when the angel destroys them. I left a spatial coordinate in the camp, so if the headquarters is attacked, I can rush back in an instant. It's fine. Then, I wish you all the best. It's best if you can get rid of the angel in the Jade State. Then we won't have to worry about it here. After asking for leave, Wang Lan directly took Jiang Sinyu's hand. In an instant, the two disappeared from the conference room and appeared in the dormitory in Shanghai. Teleportation. So convenient, Leo said enviously. Chapter 631. In the city of Heavenly Province, a cute girl was sitting on a pedestrian's chair. She had a sweet smile on her face as she looked at the young man squeezing into the crowd. After a long time, the young man returned to the girl, sweating profusely. No wonder it's the place where celebrities check in. There are so many people. Why are you smiling? I like to see you pretend to be an ordinary person, the girl said happily, holding a hot snack. What do you mean by pretending to be an ordinary person? Takashi Hoshi can't be an ordinary person. What can I do if I don't pretend to be an ordinary person? I rushed in, unleashed my astral power, and shocked the people around me. Then, I walked to the front of the stall. I'll take all the snacks today. If you dare to say no, I'll kill you and not bury you. If you do that, I'll have to sing a song tomorrow. Uffed. Although Su Xiangwen knew that his little girlfriend was probably faking her shyness, Su Xiangwen still took a bite out of it. Suddenly, his eyes widened. Seeing that the atmosphere is so good, can we? Beep, beep, beep. His phone suddenly rang. Su Xiangwen took out his phone and looked at it. Then his face changed. He thought it was just a routine check. As long as everyone was fine, it would be fine. After all, how could 2 words affect the vacation? But he didn't expect Wang Lan to send an order so soon. The vacation of the Raging Desolate team is canceled. Gather in Yunhai Province. What's wrong? The girl seemed to have a hunch. You're leaving? I'm sorry. Su Xiangwen felt guilty. He had promised to travel around the countries, but he had just arrived in Shu. He hadn't even gone to Qin. The girl's eyes reddened. She slowly stood up and walked to Su Xiangwen. Suddenly, she slapped Su Xiangwen on the head. What are you sorry for? My man is going to save the world. What's the point of staying with me? You can continue when you're back from your mission. Go now. You'll be punished if you delay the mission. Cough, cough, cough. Okay, I'll go now. Be careful. There are many bad guys out there. I say, are you stupid? Have you forgotten that I'm also a galaxy expert? Unsafe. Is there really a city in the Jade State that can make a celestial river realm cultivator feel unsafe? All right, I'm leaving. Going abroad? No, it's in China. If it's fast, it can be done in a week. Let's go. I'll send you to the airport. Sioux City, Jiangnan Restaurant. In the busy kitchen, the sound of chopping vegetables was like a symphony. When CSCC returned to Sioux City, she spent most of her time helping out at her brother's restaurant. Ever since her brother opened Jiangnan Lu, the family's life had improved a lot. His father's eyes were no longer fixated on money. His mother resigned from the factory and helped her son do the dishes and clean the house. This was a life that the family had never dared to dream of. Now it had all come true. When she returned home this time, her parents began to indirectly ask about CSCC's relationship problems. This year, CSCC was in her 4th year of university and was about to graduate. She didn't know where the old man had heard that people in university would talk about love. It seemed that Takashi Hoshi was no exception. In the beginning, CSCC really thought that something had been exposed. Later on, when she found out about it, she casually brushed her parents off. However, this question made CSCC feel a little uneasy. Her secret relationship with Wang Lan had lasted for more than 3 years. It was a ticking time bomb. Nobody knew when it would explode. Although she knew deep down that she should break off such a taboo relationship with Wang Lan. How could CSCC bear to do so? After all, this was too exciting. Beep, beep, beep. Her phone rang. CSCC took out her phone and glanced at it. With a thud, the knife slashed hard on the chopping board. She pulled the apron on her body and flung it behind her. "Brother, I'm going out." "Huh? Where are you going? Are you coming back for dinner tonight?" "I'm not coming." "Then when are you coming back?" "I don't know." Xie Xiao watched Gale Fire's back as he walked out of the kitchen. "Where's my cute and soft sister? Where did she go?" "She took a plane for Magic City and flew straight to Yanhai." As she did not inform the Yanhai Heavenly Sword Bureau that she was coming, naturally, no one came to pick her up. Wang Lan and Jiang Xinyu soared into the sky and flew straight to the Yunhai Heavenly Sword Bureau's headquarters. At that moment, the director of the Yunhai Heavenly Sword Bureau, Che Pu, was in the conference room giving out the tracking mission. The Takashi Hoshi who had caused such a terrifying aftermath of the battle had appeared in Yunhai. It was not any of the super powerhouses from Jade State. If they did not find him, Che Pu would not be able to sleep at night. Halfway through the mission, Che Pu received a call from Wang Lan. He quickly put the meeting aside and went out to greet him. "General Wang Lan, why didn't you tell me that you were coming? I could have sent someone to pick you up. You don't have to be so polite. I flew over even faster. What's the situation? Have you found any clues?" "I don't have any information at the moment. Other than knowing that this person is an angel from you, I don't know anything else. When did they become a mirror? What are they doing in Yanhai? Who is the other person? I have no clue. The angel and I have fought twice. Her strength. To be honest, I can only fight to a draw even if I use all my strength. The angel also has a very troublesome teleportation ability. I'm not confident that I can stop her. So powerful. Fortunately, you came. If it was just us, I'm afraid we would have died. Didn't you inform the 5 emperors?" We have to find the other person's whereabouts before we can talk about reinforcements. We don't even know where the person is. Did you find the phone number? We didn't find the phone number, but we found the place where the message was sent. It was in a residential building in the city. Unfortunately, we were too late. When we arrived, the person was already gone. However, we heard from the neighbors that the person was a foreigner. This answer surprised Wang Lan. He thought that it was someone that Wang Lan knew. He did not expect it to be a foreigner. Why would a foreigner send a message to Wang Lan and the other 3 to save him? And it was obviously directed at the Raging Desolate Squad? Was it a colleague from the International Security Committee? That was not right. A colleague from the International Security Committee would not send a message directly to the Raging Desolate Squad. Even if they were to ask for help, they would send it to the Bureau. That afternoon, Su Xiangwen and CSCC arrived at Yanhai Province. Wang Lan asked Cheeple to send someone to pick them up. At dusk, the Raging Desolate Squad gathered again. "The angel?" Su Xiangwen asked in surprise. "The angel who caused such a huge ruckus in White Eagle a few days ago and almost rubbed White Eagle's face into the ground. After dealing with White Eagle, she is now dealing with us? Dealing with us? Kill him. Did you bring the combat uniform? I don't know if she is in Yanhai Province now. As long as he dares to stay in Yanhai Province, he can forget about leaving alive." On the other side, in a hidden mountain forest, a female deer was being pressed down by a burly figure. The doe looked up at the sky and let out a mournful cry. The man kept moving on the doe's body. After a long time, the man let out a long sigh. I watched the television. Those milkers do their work so easily. Why is it so difficult for me to milk? As the man spoke, he got up from the doe's body. Her 2 fat breasts had been squeezed out of shape. However, only half of the water bottle in his hand was filled. After slowing down the sound of the water in the bottle, the middle-aged white man sighed and disappeared into the forest. The white man walked around in circles and came to a hidden cave. Outside the cave, the white man hesitated. What am I thinking? Why am I getting involved in this mess? Wouldn't it be better to change my identity and go on vacation? The white man seemed to be talking to himself. In the end, he walked into the cave with a half-filled bottle of deer milk. In the cave, a lamp flickered. When he got closer, he saw that it was a vase that was suspended in the cave. Under the vase, a blonde girl was sleeping. There was blood at the corner of her mouth, and her chest rose and fell weakly. As the white man got closer, the frequency of the vase's light flashing became more and more intense. "Hey, listen, This is the dear milk I worked hard to collect. Don't mess around. I'm feeding your master. You can't attack me. Do you hear me? Although his tone was tough, his actions were very cowardly. He walked step by step towards the girl. Every step he took seemed to require a great deal of courage. He was the person in charge of the bird of paradise base that the angel had snatched from Wang Lan's hands and then casually thrown into the sea. A dignified, late-stage astral sea realm expert. But in front of an unconscious girl, he was as humble as a grandson. He used to be an all-powerful existence, and his name made people's expressions change. But now he was just a little coward. Why did it become like this? There was only one reason. He was beaten up by the Holy Grail. Any existence that wanted to get close to the master of the Holy Grail would be attacked by the Holy Grail. But this time, although the Holy Grail kept flashing, it did not attack. The white man moved step by step to Yulia's side and let out a long breath. He carefully helped Yulia up and brought the canteen to Yulia's mouth. The goat milk slowly flowed into Yulia's mouth, and Yulia carefully swallowed it. Suddenly, the unconscious Yulia opened her eyes and stared sharply at the white man. Don't. I'm taking care of you. Don't attack me. I'm just feeding you. You can't bite the hand that feeds you. Phone. Yulia weakly said a word. Phone? The white man took out his phone from his pocket, his face full of heartache. Do you know? This is the first time I've been a thief in my life, and it's actually just to steal a phone. It's too shameful to think that I had dignified Takashi Hoshi. Actually, Yulia snatched the phone and quickly opened the message. She quickly typed in the number and shakily clicked send. When she finished the last step, Yulia seemed to have used up all her strength. Her eyelids drooped, and she fainted in the white man's arms. Her injuries were too severe. If not for the Holy Grail hanging on to her life, she might have died long ago. Hey, are you dead yet? Boom! Suddenly, the Holy Grail exploded with a powerful energy. The white man was fiercely hit, and his body flew backward and crashed into the mountain wall. Ah, I knew it, you bastard, you ungrateful thing. The Holy Grail was still floating above Yulia's head, flashing with light. At the same time, Wang Lan's phone suddenly rang. Come save me. Chapter 632. Another one. Wang Lan looked at the phone and stood up immediately. Director Che, hurry up and find out where this message came from. In fact, there was no need for Wang Lan to remind him. The moment Wang Lan received the message, Che Pu had already given the order. The last time, they had been tracking it after a period of time, so the accuracy and effectiveness were much worse. This time, they were waiting for the right opportunity. All the instruments were in place. The moment the order was given, all the signal tracking instruments were in place. They immediately pointed to the other party in the depths of the jungle in Yunhai Province. Found it. The precise range is within 5 kilometers, Che Pu said quickly. Let's go. The moment they obtained the approximate range, Wang Lan put on his mask and left the meeting room with the raging desolate team. Four figures jumped out of the window and rushed into the sky. Although Yunhai Province was 4 times the size of Jiang Province, more than 70% of it was covered by mountains and forests. It was not easy to build a base station in the mountains and forests. Therefore, the signal in the forest was extremely poor. If it were not for the satellite signal conversion, the phone would be useless in the depths of the forest. Wang Lan and the others landed from the sky and entered the forest to search. In a primitive forest, even people who lived in the forest all year round would get lost easily. It was not easy to find a phone within 5 kilometers in the complicated forest. Wait. Suddenly, Su Xiangwen said, someone is coming. They're 5 kilometers away, but they're heading in this direction. I don't know if they're our own people. That's not very likely. If they're our own people, there's no reason for me not to know. Let's hide and see who they are first. If the 4 of them were to fight, other than Wang Lan, the others might not be fearless. However, if they were to hide without being discovered, the 4 of them are definitely at the top of the world. Not to mention that Jiang sinews virtuous like water could hide in water vapor, CSCC's water demon, and Su Xiangwen's earth transformation technique could perfectly blend into nature. Soon, a group of people in camouflage uniforms arrived near Wanglan. They were all fully armed with helmets, heat-sensitive scanners, and so on. The woman in the lead made Wang Lan's eyes turn cold. Angel. Is he an angel? Su Xiangwen asked curiously. Why does he look so familiar? The angel looks almost the same as Yulia. We suspect that she's a clone of Yulia. No, she might be a duplicate. The angel led the team straight past Wang Lan and the others, heading straight into the depths of the forest. Is the angel heading in the direction of the person we're looking for? Jiang Xinyu asked after revealing herself. Is there any suspense? I'm sure of it. The four of them quietly followed the angel's group. In order not to be detected, Wang Lan's group maintained a distance of more than 300 meters from the angel's group. They also used Space Shield and Jiang Xinyu's perfection like water to isolate their senses. Suddenly, Angel's group stopped in their tracks. Angel waved her hand, and the three people behind her moved to a mountain wall. Two of them punched the wall, shattering it. We've found you. Do you want to come out yourself? But do we have to go in? Angel spoke in a language that Wang Lan did not understand. It was not even a language that Wang Lan knew. There was no response from the cave. Angel's patience was worn out. She waved her hand again, and the group of people rushed into the cave. Boom! There was a loud explosion, and the cave was instantly engulfed in flames. The few people who rushed and were blasted out by the explosion. They rolled at the angel's feet, their bodies charred black. It was obvious that they would not survive. Oomph! Astral power surged around Angel. Instantly, a pair of wings appeared on her back, as if covered in a layer of moonlight. It was beautiful. Boom! Suddenly, a terrifying sound came from the mountain wall. The mountain wall, which was dozens of meters high, suddenly exploded. A glowing vase rushed out of the mountain wall and smashed towards the angel. Holy Grail! Wang Lan and the others recognized this divine artifact. The Holy Grail's power was still fresh in their minds during the battle with the Lord of Hell. Why is the Holy Grail here? CSCC asked in confusion. No, isn't the Holy Grail Yulia's divine artifact? That only proves that the one in the cave is Yulia. Everyone, get ready. This time, we must kill Angel. Since you've come to Jade State, don't go back. Understood. Boom, boom, boom. The Holy Grail kept bombarding Angel. Every attack made the space tremble slightly. The Holy Grail had the power of space and the power of laws. If Yulia had not been severely injured, Angel would not have been a match for Yulia, who had the Holy Grail. While the two were fighting fiercely, there was a sudden sound of Sanskrit. Angel was shocked. After forcing Holy Grail away, she immediately retreated. But for some reason, golden swastikas appeared around her, forming a picture scroll that surrounded her from top to bottom. Vajrasil, Sky Dance Treasure Wheel. Wang Lan's voice seemed to come from beyond the 9 heavens. Hearing this voice, the angel's face suddenly changed. Her eyes were filled with fear. Seeing that Angel had nowhere to run, the Holy Grail flashed even faster. It bombarded the angel in a frenzy. As the power of the seal grew stronger, the angel's senses became more and more sluggish and tired. The angel was a little panicked. The space around her twisted, but under the interference of the Vajrasil, she could not use spatial teleportation. At this moment, the angel was like a bird in a cage. No matter how she flapped her wings, it was futile. Wang Lan's figure flashed and rushed into the Vajrasil. He instantly put on the Phoenix Saint robe and activated the Phoenix form. Flames spewed out of his body. His body instantly swelled up. 1-inch punch, threefold 1-inch punch. The threefold 1-inch punch performed in the Dragon Emperor form was Wang Lan's most powerful pure physical attack. The angel had no way to avoid this punch. She suddenly summoned a Holy Light Shield. But before Wang Lan's fist could hit the Holy Light Shield, the Holy Grail had already hit the Holy Light Shield. With a bang, the Holy Light Shield instantly shattered. At the moment when the Holy Light Shield shattered, Wang Lan's punch had already rushed through the fragments of the holy light shield and arrived in front of the angel. Boom! The punch carried a ripple that distorted space. It hit the angel's chest hard. The angel's body twisted like a reflection in water in the distortion of space. Whoa! Suddenly, the angel opened her mouth and spat out a mouthful of golden blood. Bankai, judgment of light. In an instant, the Zanpakuto in his hand scattered. The entire Vajrasil was shrouded in light. The milky white light seemed to turn into white milk. A gigantic heavenly sword, formed by the convergence of light, appeared in the sky. The angel still hadn't recovered from the power of Wang Lan's punch. The holy sword above her head fell down hard. It hit the angel's chest. A terrifying energy spread out and burst the Vajrasil. Ah! The sharp cry was like the chirping of cicadas in summer. Wang Lan only felt a little pain in his eardrums. Take advantage of the enemy's weakness. Wang Lan didn't dare to hesitate. Once he used his moves, he would have to use them until the angel died. In an instant, a five-colored light bloomed behind Wang Lan. A pair of five-colored phoenixes spread their wings and flew. Melt, flame, scorch, ice, heat, mist, explosion. Wang Lan raised his hands and injected various fusion attributes into the star power. The star power turned into a huge energy ball. Then he used the power of concentration to compress and compress. This was Wang Lan's Takashi Hoshi skill that completely erased the island in the center of the Skeleton Sea. But this time, Wang Lan injected more star power, and the types of attributes were more complicated. Go! Terrifying energy was released, turning into a rotating energy beam that struck down. The angel, who was on the verge of death under the light of judgment, raised her head with difficulty. She was stunned when she saw the beam of death come crashing down. Boom! A terrifying explosion rang out, and the ground began to churn as if a huge meteorite had crashed into the water surface. Quick retreat! Jiang Xinyu carried the unconscious Yulia on her back and pulled Su Xiangwen and the others as they ran for their lives. Wang Lan's ultimate move was comparable to an atomic bomb with a yield of 1,000,000 kilograms. The surrounding trees weren't uprooted. Instead, they were annihilated in an instant. Wang Lan flashed and arrived beside Jiang Xinyu and the others. In another flash, he brought Jiang Xinyu and the others a few kilometers away. Outside the forest, Che Pu and the other Yinhai Heavenly Sword Bureau experts stared blankly at the mushroom cloud in the distance. If it wasn't for the white light, Che Pu would have suspected that this was an atomic bomb explosion. What kind of battle could cause such a huge commotion? Director, the energy is out. It's more than 10 times the power of the previous battle, and it's a pure star power explosion. This is a collision between a Takashi Hoshi skill, or two Takashi Hoshi skills. Takashi Hoshi. Is there really such a powerful Takashi Hoshi skill? Che Pu asked mechanically. Ding! Successfully killed the angel. Reward: 1,000,000 experience points, 100,000 skill points. As expected of you, the angel who turned the world upside down. Just killing you gives so much EXP. Wang Lan looked at Yulia on Jiang Xinyu's back and hurriedly threw a life aura over. Suddenly, Wang Lan's face changed, and he took out his phone. Before Wang Lan could dial the number, his phone rang. It was a call from Hua Jianfeng. Wang Lan had a premonition and picked up the call. Wang Lan, something happened. Yulia stole the Mystic Moon mask and defected. How are the headquarters losses? The losses are not bad. Yulia used the excuse of researching the Mystic Moon mask to steal it. Then she broke through 2 S-ranked independent teams and escaped. Wait, why are you so calm? Because I just found out that the Yulia we brought to the headquarters is also a fake. Or rather, she's also an angel. Also, angels are clones of Yulia, but no one said that there's only one angel. Just now, I saved another Yulia in Jade State's Yunhai province. She's being chased by an angel. Another Yulia? Are you sure she's not an angel? She has the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail is a divine item from the nation of God. Only the Pope and Saintess of the divine religion can be recognized by the Holy Grail. I think this should be real. However, Yulia is still unconscious. I've already treated her. We'll have to wait until she wakes up to get more information. Let me know if there's any new information. His body was rapidly recovering. Yulia slowly sat up. Jiang Xinyu quickly placed a pillow behind Yulia. What the hell is going on? Why are you here? This matter started from the battle a year ago. Do you still remember how the previous saintess used the Holy Grail to break the seal of the Lord of Hell? At that time, cracks had also appeared on the Holy Grail. And because the Holy Grail was damaged, the seal on the Holy Grail loosened. Loosened? Does that mean the Lord of Hell escaped again? Was it the Lord of Hell who injured you? CSCC quickly asked. Wang Lan frowned slightly. He remembered that the Lord of Hell died soon after being sucked into the Holy Grail. Although he didn't tell anyone, the Lord of Hell was definitely dead. Yulia silently shook her head. It's not the Lord of Hell. It's another existence that's 100 times or even 1,000 times more terrifying than the Lord of Hell. The number one traitor of heaven, the one who directly caused the fall of heaven, Lucy. Something that's 100 times or 1,000 times more terrifying than the Lord of Hell. Jiang Xinyu looked at Yulia in shock. She wanted to see an exaggerated expression on Yulia's face, but unfortunately, there was none. Yulia's words were very serious and pessimistic. The Lord of Hell was already enough to make the entire human race go all out. If it was 100 times or 1,000 times more terrifying than the Lord of Hell, wouldn't it be able to reformat the entire human race with a wave of its hand? When the Lord of Hell was sealed in the Holy Grail, it was devoured by Lucy. Because of this, Lucy obtained the most basic energy to break out of the Holy Grail seal. What kind of existence is Lucy? Wang Lan quickly asked. Lucy is a holy angel from heaven 10,000 years ago. Wang Lan, do you know what the angel form is? The Takeshi Hoshi technique used by the angel? I know. The Takeshi Hoshi of the divine religion is directly passed down by the gods. Our cultivation method is different from any other sect in the world. Our final evolution path is to become an angel. When the angel form reaches the second stage, it will transform into an angel. However, that's only the most basic strength angel. Even the most basic strength angel has the strength of an astral soul realm cultivator. As it continues to cultivate, the strength of an angel will increase along with the number of wings. When it increases to 4 pairs of wings, it will become a battle angel. When it increases to 6 pairs of wings, it will become a radiant angel. When it increases to 8 pairs of wings, it will become a blazing angel. Lucy was one of the 2 archangels 10,000 years ago and the only holy angel. With the body of an angel, it was comparable to the gods. As soon as he said this, Wang Lan and the other 3's hearts were in turmoil. Even the lowest level angel has the strength of an astral soul realm cultivator. Yurian's breathing was a little rapid, and she quickly took out her phone and dialed a number. Yinhai Province, Heavenly Sword Bureau Headquarters. Wang Lan was led to the interrogation room by Secretary Che Pu. The moment he saw the white man in the interrogation room, a surprised expression appeared on Wang Lan's face. It's you? Fire Phoenix? You're the Fire Phoenix of the Raging Desolate Squad? Oh, you know each other? Che Pu asked. Yes, kill him, don't waste time. Wang Lan said indifferently and turned to leave. Sigh, Fire Phoenix, you can't do this. I've done good for you. The bird of paradise's brain is engraved with a technique, and it can't be imprinted with a mind. So, just kill him. He's a bird of paradise? Che Pu's expression immediately turned ugly. Every country had a rule that if you meet a bird of paradise, you could just kill him directly. No, I've already escaped from the bird of paradise's control. There's no technique in my brain. The white man quickly said in English. Oh, Wang Lan stopped in his tracks. You've escaped from the bird of paradise's control? How did you do it? Not long ago, after I was kidnapped by that angel, she helped me break the technique in order to obtain the secret in my brain. After that, she casually threw me away. I originally planned to swim back to the mainland, but I didn't expect to be captured by the Holy Grail. I was the one who saved the saintess of the nation of God. I've done good for you. That's it. Wang Lan laughed coldly. You're a bird of paradise, right? And you're the person in charge of a base. Your position in the bird of paradise isn't low. You must have done a lot of things for them over the years, right? You can't blame me for this. I didn't have a choice before. I just want to be a good person now. But you didn't listen to me at all. You just wanted to imprint me directly. Do you think I didn't know? Once I'm imprinted, I'll be an idiot. What's the point of living like that? Who told you that once you're imprinted, you'll be an idiot? Wang Lan asked coldly. An expert who's proficient in imprinting can imprint memories without damaging the brain with the help of the person being imprinted. But no matter how I look at it, there's no such expert here, right? I can't bet my head on their integrity. Fire Phoenix, I'll be honest. Do you still not believe me? I promise I won't say anything. We also don't dare to bet on your promise. Wang Lan sighed and shook his head. I swear on my integrity. Your integrity is worthless in my eyes. And besides, it seems like you can resist or something. Wang Lan's words made the white man's expression change. In front of other people, he could still resist, but in front of Fire Phoenix of the Raging Desolate Squad, it seemed that resistance was futile. Come, don't be afraid, be good, cooperate with my spiritual power, and perform spiritual resonance. Chapter 635. Finding the headquarters of the Birds of Paradise was a big deal. Wang Lan immediately contacted the leaders of the international and domestic organizations. Although the Birds of Paradise don't have a fixed headquarters, it's still a good thing that we can find the Holy Sun. Since they're in an uninhabited area, there's no need to be polite. On the screen, number 1 and the 6 leaders were all present. After listening to Wang Lan's report, number 1 said calmly, "Do you need me to make a move?" Wang Lan probed. "No need. I'll contact the United Nations immediately. Give us the most accurate coordinates." Yes. The United Nations decision was also very fast. There was only one attitude towards the Birds of Paradise. If they could use missiles, they wouldn't use bullets. If they could kill, they wouldn't leave anyone alive. On the other side, in the Ice Palace, Lucy's terrifying aura wreaked havoc. The entire Ice Palace trembled violently under his terrifying aura. Dense cracks covered the entire Ice Palace. In front of Lu, she stood a few leaders of the Birds of Paradise respectfully. Lucy's strength made the leaders smile excitedly. Although they had been reduced from high and mighty leaders to lowly servants, it still depended on whose servants they were. Congratulations, my God, for removing the curse. My God, may I ask what we should do next? The former Holy Son bowed and asked. Of course, the next step is to announce my arrival to the world. But before that, we have to eradicate the divine religion. Lucy lightly tapped his finger on the frozen throne and said calmly. Suddenly, hurried footsteps sounded behind him. Lucy couldn't help but frown, and a trace of displeasure appeared on his face. Your Eminence, it's not good. The humans have launched an intercontinental missile. Our base must have been exposed. If we don't move now, it'll be too late. A high-level demon's spy hurriedly ran into the frozen throne and said, Intercontinental missile? What's that? It's a technological weapon that can accurately hit targets tens of thousands of kilometers away. If it's equipped with a nuclear warhead, a single missile can destroy an entire city. It's currently the most powerful weapon in human civilization. Oh, a single missile can destroy an entire city? That's not that powerful. It's fine. Lucy lazily yawned. Suddenly, he seemed to have thought of something and looked at the demon's spy in front of him. What did you just call me? Your Eminence? You have been conferred the title of Venerable God in our God race. They are second only to Lord Demonic God. Your Eminence? Who sealed it? Of course it's Lord Demon God. Boom! With a loud explosion, The bodies of the demons instantly exploded. Green blood splattered everywhere, drenching the holy children and the other higher-ups of the birds of paradise. Back then, the devil god promised to share the universe equally with me.